This every Monday through Friday, noon till, well, when the news runs out, because that's what this stream is about. This stream is all about all of the things that are happening in the world today. If it's trending, if it's a headline, if it's something people are just buzzing about in general, we'll get it all run down for you here in a nice, about 2 hours, maybe 2 hours, sometimes a little bit more. That certainly depends. Hold on. Mr. Popular. Okay. All right. Boom, 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 boom. That was Jeff. Jeff. I just got a direct message from Jeff Ballard. Or maybe it wasn't direct. I don't know what it was. All right, Jeff. Let's get everything started here. Everybody come on in. Take your seats. Chat room is up and running. Yesterday at the start of the show, we had a little bit of an issue with every time I would go live, something would happen with the platform where it would say your recording has ended. And I'm like, well, I'm not recording, I'm streaming. It was screwed up. So I was a little bit concerned that we would have that problem again today, but we don't, except for the fact that I have no idea if this show went out on all the platforms. I have no idea if Facebook is there. I have no idea if Twitter is there. I have no idea if YouTube is there. Actually, I do now. I see Joel. Joel is watching on YouTube. So is Jen. So is Jeff. I want you guys watching on YouTube or Facebook. I guess I don't care, really. I don't know. I've never watched this show, so I don't know what that experience is like trying to, access it. I'm not the greatest when it comes to this stuff. This is, as I say, the first of two streams that we do. We do another one at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Thursday, called Pillow Talk with Pugs and Parker. That's me and James Parker. We did not do a show last night. I apologize for that. I had a thing I had to go. I had to go hang out with rich people. I had to act like I belonged, and I ate a whole bunch of food in the suite at the Mavs game last night. Okay, so quick Mavs game review. Okay, so let's do this. I know there's a lot of, hi, Leslie. I know that there's a lot of people out there who are Mavericks fans. I have not been to a Dallas Mavericks game actually since the year they won it all. I went to a number of the postseason. I went to 2 postseason games that year. And that was it. And that was a crazy good time. But I had gone to a number of Mavs games. Obviously, I used to work for the flagship station of the Chicago Bulls. Used to produce the pre and post game. That's one of the great things that I'll be sharing with my grandchildren. I was feet away from Michael Jordan, that kind of thing. Like the whole Grandpa sat me down and told me about Babe Ruth. Yep. Well, I'm gonna have stories for my grandkids. So I went to a lot of Bulls games. Back when going to Bulls games was good, back when they were good. Now, not so much. And I was always blown away by the presentation of the game back in the 90s. Now, we understood that was kind of an anomaly because those 90s Jordan-led Bulls teams were a cultural phenomenon that extended beyond basketball. They were like the Beatles. They'd tour over in Japan and people would go crazy, that kind of thing. So the energy during those games was incredible, and it was not manufactured. It was helped along by they were like the first to do like the big introductions with the music and the lasers and people going nuts. It's because there was an energy around that team. Well, in the years since, most of the other NBA teams, I would assume all of them, have adopted that style of energy with the introductions. I mean, you get the Bobcats out there, and their guys like, it's like, what am I watching here? I'm watching a really bad team, and you're really trying to hype me up for this. Anyway, Mavs games under Mark Cuban have always been that way. They've always been very exciting. They've always done and they don't, they got the Mavs Maniacs and they got the dudes with the drums. And I've always said that nobody puts on an NBA show quite the way Mark Cuban does. I mean, if you think about, and I never went to a Mavs game back in the pre-Mark Cuban owning them days, but I can't imagine that they had anything like the energy that Cuban has brought to the team. So anyway, fast forward now. I haven't been to a Mavericks game in a number of years. In fact, I haven't been to a NBA basketball game in 4 seasons since, I guess, before the COVID outbreak. The last game I went to was the Golden State Warriors and Chicago Bulls at the stadium there. And, it was a modern game, and it was the Golden State Warriors, so everybody was excited about seeing them because they're good, but, it was, one of the things that I love about NBA games is how they introduce the team, like, the team could be, like, 10 games under 500, and when it comes to introducing that home team that's 10 games under 500, it's like, "Let's go!" Rah, rah," and then they bring out the Golden State Warriors, who are the dominant team of the area, and it's like, "And introducing Steph Curry, and it's like Draymond Green." It's very it's very subdued, and it seems very silly. It seems ridiculous. Anyway, I had some observations about the way the modern Mavericks games are being presented to the audience. Not the at-home viewing audience, but the in-stadium audience. First of all, last night's game was dead. It was absolutely dead. And well, there was an ice storm going on. So a lot of people didn't show up. Like there was a lot of I'll tell you, it was like 5 minutes to tip off, and the stadium looked to be about 75% empty. We're like, there's nobody that's going to be here. Now, it eventually filled in. I don't know how they did that, where they got all those people, or maybe people were just late because of the weather. But it filled in, and it looked okay. But it was still not a jam-packed Mavericks game. So here, I have a couple of questions because I thoroughly enjoyed the spectacle of the in-house show that they put on. It was great. It didn't matter that there wasn't a whole lot of energy in the stadium because there was an ice storm and people weren't there. They're doing something now that are the Mavs, the Bulls don't do this. During the game, the public address guy, the guy who goes, shooting two, Luka Doncic, the guy who tells you, what's going on. The guy who does that for the Mavericks, God, first of all, he sounded really familiar, and I couldn't put him. I'm like, who is that? Who is that? Who is that guy? So if you guys know, who's the guy that does the in-house, and now coming to the line, that guy. But that's not him. I'm just giving you an example of what we've come to recognize as that guy's role in games. Doesn't interrupt, is just there to give information. The Mavs guy is like doing a talk radio show while the game is going on. It's awesome. The Mavs guy is great. It's almost like there is a full-time, I guess the rule used to be, well, the PA announcer doesn't need to step on the action. No, this guy was enhancing the action. This guy was amazing. I have no idea who he is. No, it wasn't Chris Arnold, because Chris Arnold is the guy. I know Chris Arnold. Chris was, on the court with the mic interviewing people. That was the guy doing, I don't know who it is. Anyway, maybe Frank Smith does. This seems like something Frank Smith could help me out with. Anyway, it was amazing. And then the other thing that I noticed that was so cool, was done better than anywhere else. Well, what am I going to compare it to, right? I've been to a Pistons game back in the day in Detroit. I've been to a Lakers game 1 year in LA, went to a Lakers game. The Lakers was cool, but the Lakers was what you expected. And Bulls games, that's it. So I don't really know. But the music, the constant music. Remember Jock Jams? Remember Jock Jams was that compilation of music that you'd hear at stadiums? And back then, they would just play the music during like timeouts, like, trying to get the crowd into it when there's a timeout on the court or something like that. They play music wall to wall, and it's all really great. It like really enhances the whole experience. Because as I said, the energy level was a little bit down last night because of the ice storm and because there weren't a lot of people there. But man, what a show. I just got to say, what a show they put on. I mean, it was just, forget about what was going on the court. Just everything else. They just do a really great job. And you got the Mavs guys with the horns and the banging the drums. And they do just a really, really good show. I was impressed. I was really impressed. I was like, man, these games are fun. Now, about the game. It was a blowout. It was fun. Luka had 29 points at the end of the first quarter. And I remember turning to the people I was with and I go, all right, we ain't going to see him the rest of the game. They were up like 30 points. At one point, they were up 40, maybe even over 40, the Mavs over the Pelicans. It was just a complete disaster for the New Orleans Pelicans, who had just arrived in town. They had been stuck in Denver for 2 days because their plane couldn't land in Dallas because of the storms and all that stuff. So, I mean, they were just like a bunch of Christmas time Southwest Airlines passengers by the time they hit the floor. And it was like, Luka time. Luka went absolutely off. He was hitting everything. He was just so dominant. They just couldn't stop him. And I was first time I've ever seen Luka play live. And I'm glad I got to see him for the first quarter because he didn't play at all in the second. Well, I think he came in with like 3 minutes, something like that, left to go in the second quarter. But he sat the bench the entire second quarter. And by that point at halftime, the Mavs were up. It was ridiculous. I don't even know. I lost track. But like I said, it was approaching 40 points. They were up by. So at halftime, we're all like, we ain't going to see Luka again. Why the hell would you put Luka Doncic out on the court in a game that is just a runaway victory for your squad against a desperate and humiliated and exhausted team? Why would you risk your superstar out there against people that are just... And then he came in the third, and then he fell. And then he fell, and he couldn't get up, and he was hobbling, and we're just all like, this is it. Why was he in there? Why was this kid in there? Does he got to get his 40? Is that it? That Luka needs to get his 40? And then when he went to the, he sat on the bench for the first. It was a timeout after he got hurt. He sat on the bench, and they were tending to him and all that stuff. And then he went into the locker room. And when he went into the locker room, he was like limping. It was not good. He was really limping. Apparently he hurt his heel, the heel of his foot or something when he came down. He charged a lane and got fouled. Actually, I don't think they called it a foul. I don't know. Anyway, I don't remember. I was just shocked that he got hurt because we were all saying he shouldn't be playing. What if he gets hurt? And then he gets hurt. It reminded me of the Jason Sehorn situation with the New York Giants a few years back. Jason Sehorn wanted to return kicks, and everybody was like, you're too important to us to return kicks. You could get hurt. He said, I want to return kicks. So on Monday Night Football, he returns a kick, and he shatters his knee. And it's like, well, I guess Jason Sehorn, it reminded me of that. It reminded me of a wholly avoidable situation where your superstar got injured for, I don't know why. I don't know. I have no idea why he was out there other than, he just wanted to pad his stats against the team that wasn't good. There was no reason for it. So I don't know. I think he's day to day. I have no. April says it's Chuck Cooperstein. Was it Chuck? It might have been Chuck Cooperstein. That's possible. Whoever it is, he's really good. All right. So that was my night at the Mavs game last night. It was fun. We had a good time. Oh, let me make a quick little change here. Sorry, folks. A little housekeeping. Oh, we got stuff to talk about today. We got all kinds of stuff that's trending, all kinds of fun stuff. It's going to be a fun Friday show. Let's see here. Oh, I should also make note. Had a conversation yesterday afternoon with a panicked James Parker of the Pugs and Parker show. I told him the show is struggling since we lost the income that was basically supporting the show and me, for that matter. So I announced yesterday that there will probably be some changes with this noon show and with the streams. I just don't know how we're going to continue doing the high noon show. I look off into the distance and I go, I don't know. I don't know that, like, say a couple weeks from now, we're still going to be able to do this because I have to make some changes around here. And I don't know how that will affect what we're doing here at noon. I do pledge to try to keep this going. Thank you all to everybody who tipped the show this month. We appreciate that. It's not something that we like to do here. Something that we had to do in the first few months of the show, and then better part of the first year of the show. We're going on our second year now. We're in our second year, heading into our third year, actually. Well, year and a half. We've been doing it a year and a half, and then we were able to pull back the viewer supported aspect of the show when that was, and then that money went away, so we had to bring it back. And it's not you guys. It's not you guys. I guess we're asking too much. I guess it's just too much to expect that with the limited audience that we have, and we have a very limited audience here. We have a very limited audience, and you guys are great, and you're loyal. You're still not fucking sharing the show, though, man. I swear to God, I had a conversation with somebody last night. And I'm like, you know what the hardest thing to do in digital is to get people to support you by just sharing the show. It is easier to ask them for money than it is to ask people to share and forward and promote the show, because that's how social media works. One person on one platform does something, then somebody on another platform amplifies it. And then somebody that has that amplification then amplifies it again. And that's how it grows. And people just don't think to do it. It's not that you're doing it to be, obstinate or anything, but it's just something that people don't do. They don't share the show. They don't promote the show. So without any kind of growth, and I mean, I wish the show could exist with you folks. I wish it could, but it just can't. I mean, there's just not enough support. So I do want to thank the people who have tipped the show. You can still tip the show. You can still help us out. We are, definitely in need, but we're gonna probably, we will do a show Monday. There will be a show Monday. There may be something. Here's how it'll work in the beginning. There will be interruptions because I will have to be out taking meetings and stuff. And a lot of times people will say, yeah, meet us at the office at 12 or at 1 or whatever. And that'll affect the show. I do have every intention of trying to continue the show because I love the show. I love this. This is, like I described it yesterday. This is shooting hoops in the driveway. This is like a labor of love. This is something that really helps my mental state. It gives me something. It gives me joy, to put it just so basically. I mean, but joy doesn't keep the lights on, and I got to start thinking about what's next. So we'll see. We'll see how that all plays out. Okay, so we will do a show Monday because I got nothing on the books. I got nothing on the books for Tuesday, but that could change. So Parker calls me yesterday and he's kind of panicked. He's like, wait, what's going on? And he knows the situation. So I told him, don't worry. No matter what happens, I mean, I don't think I'll be working the night shift at a movie theater or anything like that. I envision that the Pugs and Parker show will continue just because it's at an easier time to do. It's not in business hours. So that I don't envision there being any real interruptions to the Pugs and Parker show. In fact, we had a nice conversation about changing that show, possibly shifting the time, thinking that maybe there's a better audience a little bit earlier than 9:00. So anyway, some changes, but we do, Parker and myself, we have every intention of continuing that show. And I would absolutely like to continue this show, but it's just, I mean, how long can you do this? How long can, we live like this? This is not good. There is a chance that we could get saved. I mean, as soon as we have some movement in our other projects, that will then provide the income externally for other things that I can continue to do this as a labor of love, shooting hoops in the driveway, as I like to say. All right, so that's it. That's all the dark, dour, sad news and all that stuff. By the way, I appreciate all the notes. Yesterday was my 31st anniversary doing radio. It was 31 years ago yesterday that I first appeared on the Kevin Matthews show in Chicago as a rodent, as a groundhog, stalking the streets of Chicago, demanding that people help me find my shadow. Oh, the dog is barking. We're going to hear that all day. And I can't let her in because it's all mud out there. And if they're doing construction in the back greenway, and the dog just thinks it's her job to tell the construction workers what to do. Okay, so where was I? What was I talking about? I don't remember. Good show. We're gonna have fun today. There will be a show on Monday. I wanted to make sure that was clear. Oh, what I'd really like to do, in what I see the evolution of this as becoming, is I want to start doing more just breaking news as it happens stuff. Like, that was the intent all along. I don't know if you know the greatness, someone who I just admire the hell out of, a kid by the name of Steve Lookner. You should follow him at Steve Lookner. He is so good. He is like the best journalist in America. No bullshit, non-divisive. He just covers news. He just covers breaking stories. He's fantastic. I would like to replicate that in some form. He doesn't do a static show. He doesn't do a show every night or every day at this time. He just pops in all the time whenever something big is happening, and he covers it from wire to wire. It's fantastic. I really admire what he does. So I would like to do that in some way, shape, or form, and I'd like to maybe do more of that if we have to draw back this show. Again, we're not drawing back the show yet. I'm just trying to prepare you because I've always been honest about it. And in the past, I've always told you, we'll make this show work. We'll make it work. Well, I'm just not convinced that we will make this show work anymore, but I do appreciate it. And again, very important to me to say thank you to the people who have supported the show with little tips. You can still do it. Venmo, Cash App. I thank you. I appreciate it. I have a list. I have a big list. I have a list of everybody who has ever donated to this show and what they donated. And I don't know if I win the lotto, you'll get all your money back double. That's kind of in the back of my head. But I ain't winning the lotto, so at this point, that's just a garbage nice thought. All right, that's it. Let's get started. Let's get into what today is. Let's run through all of the issues of the day. Here we go. Hold on. It is high noon for the third day of February, year of our Lord, 2023. February 3rd is the 34th day of the year. There are 331 days remaining until the end of the year. Here's how we do this show. We like to give you all the things that happened previously on this day. We go through the history. We talk about some of the births, and then we mourn some of the people who have passed on this day. So let's get to it. On this day in 1690, the colony of Massachusetts issues the first paper money in the Americas. 1690. Now, how do you think that was received for the first 20 years? Like paper money? Like were there people like, the crypto resistors, which I am a crypto resistor. I don't get it. Of course you don't get it. You're an old man. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, my co-host, schizophrenic me, chiming in. That's the guy inside my head who tells me everything is nonsense. I'm not using... Actually, I was. How did they talk back then? They talked a little bit different in 1690. Ye old nugget of gold will never be... I don't know. What did they have? Coins? What did they have? I don't know. Paper money. Anyway, on this day in 1690, it was introduced. And I guarantee you people resisted. 1787, a militia led by General Benjamin Lincoln crushes the remnants of Shays' Rebellion in Petersham, Massachusetts. Now, this is not necessarily a major moment in American Revolutionary history, but I just like that I discovered a guy by the name of General Benjamin Lincoln. Doesn't that sounds like the name of a groundhog, right? Like that they would, and the groundhog, General Benjamin Lincoln said, it sounds like a made up name that is just like, gonna connect on all these like pro-America kind of things. Yeah, there was a general named Benjamin Lincoln. Most American name of all time, I think. General Benjamin Lincoln. I'm going to check into all hotels from now on as General Benjamin Lincoln. On this day in 1809, the territory of Illinois is created by the 10th United States Congress. Welcome to the party, Illinois. No, not welcome to the party. You're just a territory. You're just a place where it looks like we can farm. And there's a whole bunch of Indians there. You're not a state yet. 1809, territory of Illinois is created by the Congress. On this day in 1870, the 15th Amendment of the United States Constitution is ratified. 15th Amendment. What did the 15th Amendment do? You guys know? I didn't know. I didn't know. I had to look it up. The 15th Amendment to the United States Constitution guarantees the voting rights of all male citizens, regardless of race. Yeah, look at that. Black dudes got to, that's what that's about. Black dudes got to vote in 1870. Still not women. So that's the pecking order. That's honestly the pecking. When you really want to take a 30,000 foot view of it, the pecking order is white men, black men, white women, AI, supermarket automated checkout, black women. There you go. That's the pecking order. That's how it apparently works. Yeah. So I do find that interesting that they gave the right to vote to black men before they gave it to women. That's because it really tells you how they kind of viewed women back then. 1913, on this day, the 16th Amendment to the United States Constitution is ratified. You know what that one is? Nah, I didn't either. I got the first 10. I can do the first 10. After the first 10 amendments, it's like, okay, whatever. Now they're just repeating themselves. Income tax, federal income tax. 1913, there wasn't a federal income tax until 1913. I mean, I imagine there were state and county taxes, but 1913, the federal income tax was imposed and collected. Let's see. In 1917, World War I, the American entry into the war begins when diplomatic relations with Germany are severed due to unrestricted submarine warfare. So we got into the war to World War I. We were like, we're going over there. That was World War I, right? That wasn't World War II. That was World War I. On this day in 1959, rock and roll musicians Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and J.P. the Big Bopper Richardson are killed in a plane crash along with the pilot near Clear Lake, Iowa, an event later known as the day the music died. Let's go live to our Clear Lake, Iowa correspondent, Jeff Ballard, in the chat room. Jeff, what are the conditions on the ground? Now we got to wait because there's like a delay. On this day in 1961, the United States Air Force begins Operation Looking Glass. Do you guys know what Operation Looking Glass is? Ooh, is Looking Glass cool? Operation Looking Glass was a Cold War defense initiative. Excuse me. It was in 1961 we launched a plane. And we put this plane up in the air. This was Operation Looking Glass. We put this plane up in the air and it was just flying around and it stayed up there for 30 years. I mean, I guess there was more than one plane, right? Like that plane would have to land and another one would take its place. But Operation Looking Glass was, here's how it's described. The United States Air Force begins Operation Looking Glass, and over the next 30 years, a doomsday plane is always in the air with the capability of taking direct control of the United States bombers and missiles in the event of the destruction of America. You know, if Washington and all that stuff gets bombed and blown to bits, we got a plane up there. We got that plane. That plane is still going to be. Why is there a flaw in this? I mean, you have to believe that the Soviets knew that we had a plane up there. So wouldn't step one be to take out the plane? Wouldn't that just take out the plane? I don't know. Hey, whatever. I wasn't even born yet. On this day in 1971, excuse me, I gotta clear my throat. This is gonna be ugly. That was ugly. On this day in 1971, New York police officer Frank Serpico is shot during a drug bust in Brooklyn. He survives. Then he goes on to testify against a whole bunch of crooked New York City cops. The movie Serpico. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Serpico. Al Pacino, one of his early great films, was just watch Serpico. It'll tell you all about it. On this day in 1998, the Cavalice cable car disaster. Oh God. Oh my God, you remember this? No, maybe not, but I remember seeing, like, I don't know, the world's greatest disasters on like Discovery or whatever, History Channel. You know, they used to have those shows. So this was like up in, where was it? Was it in Italy? I think it was. Here was it say, a United States military pilot causes the death of 20 people when his low-flying plane cuts the cable of a cable car near Trento, Italy. So all these people were in this cable car going up in the mountains, you know. I don't know why I just channeled the mountain climber from The Price is Right. But all these people are in this plane, this idiot, this moron, which is, you know, you really don't think fighter pilots are morons, but apparently this guy was a moron. He was trying to show off. He flew way too low and he accidentally clipped the line. These people in the cable car fell to their death like a million miles down. I don't even know how far it was, but what a horrific, frightening thing. First of all, you're in the cable car and you see the plane coming and you're like, that plane is really close. That plane. And you would think that even if the plane didn't clip the line, wouldn't the jet wash from the plane as it passed over like throw people out of the bucket? Horrifying. Look this up. Look up the Cavali's cable car disaster. It is awful. And look, Italy had a right to be pissed. Italy was really pissed. They had a right to. All right, there you go. Those are the things that happened on this day. Let's move into some of the birthdays. Born on this day in 1894, Norman Rockwell, ladies and gentlemen. Norman Rockwell. Has anyone ever took brush to easel? Is that what it is? Is it an easel? What's an easel? Was that the thing they paint on? Norman Rockwell, man. That dude, nobody, America, I don't know how to describe it. Like that's what he did. His pictures still hold up today. They're quaint, they're folksy. They really do sort of embody this image of America that isn't real, never was real. It's the small town barber and the young boy and his pup. It wasn't America great in 1905. Yeah, that small town barber was molesting that little kid, and nobody knew about it because nobody talked back then. You know what I mean? It was just this phony image that everything was perfect. But it's nice. It's nice, and we need more nice. Born on this day in 1894, Norman Rockwell. Born on this day in 1918, Joey Bishop. Joey Bishop is the least known member of the fabled Rat Pack. The Rat Pack. The Rat Pack was, you got Frank Sinatra, you got Dean Martin, you got Sammy Davis Jr., you got Peter Lawford, you got Joey Bishop. Boom. That's it. That's the Rat Pack. That's the Rat Pack. Now, dudes in the Rat Pack, everybody but Joey Bishop, they were hanging out, drinking and partying in the sauna and golfing and shooting Ocean's 11, doing all kinds of stupid stuff during the day. You know what Joey Bishop was doing? Working his ass off. Joey Bishop created, wrote, staged, produced everything that the Rat Pack ever did on stage. He wrote all the material. He did it all. And he got the least amount of credit. But he was the guy, because Frank wasn't going to work. Dean wasn't going to work. The reason that they decided to make Ocean's 11 in Vegas was so that they could all hang out in Vegas together. That was it. That was the plan. This is just a bunch of very well-to-do, sophisticated, popular celebrities who just wanted to hang out and party all day. Joey Bishop is the guy that did all the work. He was born on this day in 1918. He was a comedian. He also had a TV show. Born on this day in 1940, Fran Tarkington, American football player and sportscaster. Credited with being the first true scrambler. Go to YouTube and watch some Fran Tarkington highlights. For back when Fran Tarkington was playing professional football, quarterbacks didn't play that way. Quarterbacks did not play. Talk about a guy who had happy feet in the pocket. Fran Tarkington was an anomaly, and he was a terrific quarterback. Fran Tarkington, born on this day in 1940. A forgotten terrific quarterback. I don't think most people ever think of Fran Tarkington. Took his team to 4 Super Bowls. I mean, Jim Kelly, we don't forget Jim Kelly. Jim Kelly took his team to 3. Now, Fran lost all 4, and so did Jim Kelly. But still, that's quite the accomplishment. Born on this day in 1943, Blythe Danner, American actress. Blythe Danner did a lot of stuff in the 70s and 80s. You'd recognize her. You'd go, oh, yeah, that chick. She did a lot of TV movies. She was famous. She wasn't an A-lister, but she was famous. She was recognizable. The reason we talk about her today is because she's Gwyneth Paltrow's mom. And I watched a lot of TV movies as a kid. And, when you see pictures, when you see images of Blythe Danner from the 1970s and 80s, you're like, oh my God, Gwyneth Paltrow is a time traveler. She looks just like her. She looks just a little different. But man, oh man, mother and daughter, do they look similar. Born on this day in 1945, another great and wholly forgotten quarterback. If not for his son playing the last 20 years, although his son's retired now too. People pretty much have forgotten about Bob Greasy. Bob Greasy, quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. Another great quarterback. Quarterback of the second greatest single season NFL team of all time, the 1972 undefeated Dolphins. They were terrific. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Bob Greasy. You alive or dead? He looks like he's still alive. Bob Greasy, still alive. Brian Greasy, his son, still alive. Born on this day in 1950, Morgan Fairchild, American actress. She was another hottie from the 70s and 80s. Except she was like Like when I was a little kid, when I was a young man, when I was going through puberty and they had all these people on TV and all these girls, and I started noticing the Heather Locklears and the Heather Thomases and the Christy Brinkley's and the Farrah Fawcett's and all this. I don't know. There was something about, like, I recognized that Morgan Fairchild was pretty, but she seemed like older. She seemed like, she's not for me. Although, let's be honest. I should be so lucky. Morgan Fairchild's a beautiful woman. Born on this day in 1952, Freddie Lynn, Freddie Baseball. Oh man, Freddie Lynn, Boston Red Sox. Fred Lynn was so great. Hey, another superstar, kind of forgotten. Freddie Lynn. I tweeted something about Freddie Lynn yesterday. He was trending, probably because people are like me. Are like, how come nobody talks about how great Freddie Lynn was? That diving third baseman, the horizontal. Anyway, Freddie Lynn also really good at the head first slide. Freddie Lynn, exciting baseball player back in my youth. Born on this day in 1956, Nathan Lane, American actor and comedian. Nathan Lane is, somebody that a lot of people like. I don't. Nathan Lane seems harmless, right? Except here's the problem. He's just a little much. He's just a little bit much all the time. Can you tone it down, Nate? Don't call me Nate. My name is Nathan. Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about. Can you calm it down just a little bit? Just, Imagine being in the backseat of a car on a trip to Florida with that guy. Oh, my God. What sings show tunes? No, Nate. Stop calling me Nate. My name is Nathan. Okay. All right. Born on this day in 1965, Maura Tierney. Maura Tierney, another one that we've all forgotten about, but I had a crush on her. Oh, yeah, I did. She was Lisa on News Radio. Remember? Wait, was she Lisa on News Radio? Or am I confusing with somebody else? I don't know. I'm going with Maura Tierney, played Lisa on News Radio. Here's another one that got a bit of a crush on. Born on this day in 1976, Isla Fisher. Says here she's an Omani Australian actress. Omani, is that like that country, Oman? You think? Thank you, schizophrenic me. I do. I think it probably is. Isn't she married to Borat? She's married to Borat. She's like Isla Fisher Borat. It's not his real name. I know it's not his real name. I can't think of his real name right now. Sacha Baron Cohen. That's it. Isla Fisher. Looks a lot like Amy Adams. Not anymore. There was a time when they both looked like doppelgangers for one another, Isla Fisher and Amy Adams. But now Amy Adams has sort of matured in a different way than Isla Fisher. Isla Fisher actually looks the same. She looks the same as she looked from Wedding Crashers from like 20 years ago. But they used to be doppelgangers for each other. Isla Fisher and Amy Adams. Born on this day in 1978. Boy. Wow, we are on a run of girls that I got crushes on. Born on this day in 1978, Amal Clooney, the British Lebanese lawyer and activist, wife of course, George Clooney. George Clooney was single forever. George Clooney was like, why would I ever get married? And then he laid eyes on Amal Clooney at some, fancy function, and he was like, because she's out there, man. She is a 10 on all levels. She is an intellectual 10. She is a physical 10. She is a beauty 10. She is a smarts 10. Well, I already said that. Okay, so she's smart and beautiful. There you go. That's it. Smart, beautiful, successful. An ass kicker too, man. An ass kicker. She is an ass kicker in a courtroom, in international. She's not just a lawyer, right? You don't get a DUI and have Amal Clooney represent you. No, she prosecutes war criminals and shit like that. Like she is a legit lady, man. Woo! Clooney's got her. Good for him. Born on this day in 1984. I don't know that I have a crush on her, but I'm intrigued by this girl. And I think she's got a touch of that Asperger's thing. I think she does. Elizabeth Holmes, ladies and gentlemen, Elizabeth Holmes, American fraudster. I guess that would be the best way to sum her up. American fraudster, founder of Theranos. Remember, she said, she's like a robot. She's like, I've invented a new process for cleansing blood at home that will revolutionize diabetes and people who suffer from blood issues. Let's give her all the money. She seems like a robot, and robots are smart. She didn't do any of that. She didn't have anything. She just got a whole bunch of people. She convinced a whole bunch of people through her robotic, weirdly serious, and overly confident ways that she had invented something that was going to be a $500 billion industry. Why? Because Americans are really unhealthy. And there's a whole lot of like baby boomers now who are in that age group where all the unhealthy shit that we do here in America is catching up with us. And medical science has created ways to prolong our lives. But you got to get your blood work done. You got to do. So what if you could do that at home? And that's what investors saw. Investors went, whoa, man. And we got a lot of fat millennials out there too. A lot of millennials who, do nothing but ingest copious amounts of high fructose corn syrup every day. They're gonna have the diabetes. They're gonna have that. We're gonna need some help. And that's basically what they were looking at. And she sold them a bag of beans. It was a bag of magic beans. And she never kind of admire that. I've been talking recently about I don't like crime. Certainly none of us do. None of us want to be a victim of crime. But there are certain crimes that I'm like, that's pretty clever. How did that one get by? And she's one of them. And I'm like, because look, she's going to go to jail for let's be honest. We got a story about Gary Glitter. Gary Glitter molested a whole bunch of kids. He's out of jail now. He was sentenced to 16 years. He did 7. And now he's out. She's not going to go to jail forever. She's not. She's going to go to jail for a couple of years. And she was also Elizabeth Holmes, billionaire founder of Theranos, for a bunch of years living up to that. So what you got to think about in your mind is, would I do 7 years in prison? Let's just say it's going to be 7 years. It might even be less for her. Will I do 7 years? No, they're saying it's going to be a billion years. No, it's not. No, it is not. It was a nonviolent crime. Well, it's like Madoff. Madoff is different. Madoff took money from the people who make the laws. Madoff, this woman just took money from a bunch of Silicon Valley investors. Anyway, she's going to get out. So the question is, would you... I don't even think she's in yet. So is she in? Has she reported to some minimum security volleyball court with gates and locks? Is that because that's basically where she's going? I don't even know if she's in yet. Anyway, who knows? Maybe nothing will happen to her because we'll all just forget because we move on. But would you do 7 years in prison if for 5 years before those 7 years you can live like a billionaire? And then when you get out of prison, if you were smart when you were a billionaire, you'll have your cousin's backyard will have a hole dug filled with gold bars that you bought. You know what I mean? I'm wondering. I might take that trade. I might be Elizabeth Holmes. I might because there's no way. She's so famous. She's got an income for the rest of her life. If she gets out of prison, Elizabeth Holmes could do a daily stream podcast, and trust me, she wouldn't need to solicit for tips as we do at the bottom of the screen there. She wouldn't need that. She could do appearances. If she wanted to reinvent herself as a club DJ, you don't think she could command $10,000 a night to go to Vegas and spin records? Not even spin records, just press a button and then there are ways for someone with the celebrity of Elizabeth Holmes to always make money. So, on the whole, the question becomes, would I go play volleyball behind an electrified fence for 7 years if it meant all those other things? And my answer is absolutely. Absolutely. Sign me up. Send me to that minimum security prison where I can learn things. Maybe I'll learn computer programming. Who knows? Maybe I'll do a podcast from prison. They might let me because it's minimum security, and that's not even prison. It's just you know what it is? It's like a bad hotel. That's what it is. It's like a bad hotel that doesn't have all the amenities that you become accustomed to. Let's do some deaths. Some people died on this day. In 1924, Woodrow Wilson died on this day. He was a president. He was the 28th president of the United States. Woodrow Wilson. What did he do? No clue. No clue what Woodrow Wilson did. On this day in 1959, we already covered this in the events of the day. The Big Bopper died. American singer, songwriter, and guitarist. The Big Bopper. Well, what did he do? What did he have? Chantilly lace, right? Hello, baby. A Chantilly lace. Da, 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 da. He was a novelty act. He was a Texan. I believe he's from the Dallas area. He was a DJ. He was a DJ who made a record and then played his own record, and it became a hit. Oh, man. The way that things worked back then, that's just too easy. I mean, ultimately, it led to his tragic death in a snowstorm in an airplane in an Iowa cornfield. But still, had that, just eliminate that. The dude was just a DJ. Buddy Holly, American singer, songwriter, and guitarist, also died on this day. Buddy Holly is the exception. Look, I know that a number of people died in that plane. 3 that we talk about. I think there was also a pilot, but who cares about him, right? He's just a working man. Buddy Holly was legit. Buddy Holly, when people talk about the day the music died, I'm sorry, but they're not talking about the Big Bopper. They're not. They're not talking about Richie Valens. They're talking about Buddy Holly. Buddy Holly was the first true American genius of the rock and roll genre. He was. He did things, wrote his own songs, put his own band together, produced his own songs, was in the studio, was doing shit in the studio that George Martin, the much lauded and decorated producer of the Beatles, George Martin said that some of the things that Buddy Holly was doing is the reason that he knew it was okay to try it with the Beatles. But Buddy Holly was an absolute genius. So when they talk about the day the music died, they're talking about Buddy Holly. They're really not talking about the guy who did Chantilly Lace or La Bamba. With respect. Richie Valens also died on this day, American singer, songwriter, and guitarist. Richie Valens was a legit performer. He had a couple of hits. He was popular. We all saw the movie La Bamba. Yeah. That movie made him out to be a little bit more influential and bigger than he really was, but that's okay. That's okay. I imagine in certain sectors of the American populace, the Latinos and all of that, I'm a very important guy to them. He had a number of hits. He was all right, but the jury's still out on whether or not Richie Valens would have been cutting albums in 1980. It's not a question with Buddy Holly. But Buddy Holly was going to be somebody, a Dylan, a Springsteen, something like that. He was going to be one of the icons. So that was on this day, 1959. Buddy Holly, Big Bopper, Richie Valens, all of them died. On this day in 1989, do you like independent film? If you like independent film and you don't know who John Cassavetes is, then you don't like independent film. John Cassavetes basically invented the idea of being able to make your own movies outside of the Hollywood studio system. John Cassavetes was a genius, and he died on this day in 1989. John Cassavetes was also an actor, really good actor, Dirty Dozen. John Cassavetes started out as an actor. They wanted to make him a big movie star. And he was like, you know what? I really want to direct and create my own films. So what John Cassavetes did over the course of his career was he just appeared in films so that he could make money to bankroll the little independent films that he made. John Cassavetes was a trailblazer. Know his name. Learn about him. Filmophiles. If you don't know who John Cassavetes is, I don't really have much recognition for your filmophile status. On this day in 1996, Audrey Meadows died. American actress and banker. It says she was a banker. She was Alice. Bang zoom, Alice. She was Ralph Cramden's wife from The Honeymooners. Also, not something that I ever noticed when I was watching The Honeymooners as a kid. Kind of a babe. Audrey Meadows, Alice, kind of a babe. You know who else kind of a babe? Trixie, Joyce Randolph, kind of a babe. They both babelicious. Not so much. I mean, I was like 8 years old, pre-puberty, when I was probably watching them, so I never classified them that way. But as an adult, like, for instance, I saw that it was Audrey Meadows' birthday, so I pulled up some pictures, and I'm like, definitely a babe. Definitely a hot Hollywood babe of the 1950s. Dead on this day in 2006, Al Lewis, Grandpa Munster. That dude was crazy. That dude was nuts. We used to have him on our show from time to time just to check in with Grandpa Munster just prior to his death, too. He had nothing to lose. He he was funny and he was not afraid of anything, and he would say whatever was on his mind. And Grandpa Al Lewis, he was a fun guy. Born dead on this day in 2012, Ben Gazzara, American actor and director. I couldn't name one thing that Ben Gazzara was. Roadhouse. He was the bad guy. He was the guy who owned the town, who ran the town, who didn't like what was going on at the Roadhouse, or whatever the deal was. But Ben Gazzara did a whole bunch more than that. Ben Gazzara was a really good actor in the 1960s and 70s. He died in 2012. Coincidentally enough, Ben Gazzara, who died on this day in 2012, and John Cassavetes, who died on this day in 1989. Ben Gazzara was one of John Cassavetes' primary stable of actors. Like when John Cassavetes would make one of his independent films, he would get Ben Gazzara would be in it. They did a whole bunch of stuff together. They were friends. And they died on the same day. Isn't that weird? I mean, one of them got 10, 11, 20. One of them got 23 more years than the other, but whatever. All right, there you have it. That's everything that we've got that's happened on this day. Should we jump into the shit that's actually going on? You know what, guys, excuse me for a moment. I need to step out. The heat is still set to Ice-ageddon temperature. Remember, it's been really cold the last couple of days. And what is it now? Is it 85? Is it 85 now here in Dallas? It was like 29 yesterday. I don't know. But the heat it's way too hot in here. Hold on. What is the current temperature? All right, current temperature is 48 degrees. I got to turn the heat down. I'm wearing a sweater. Sweating. I'm not wearing a hat today, so you can see the beads of sweat. It's not good. All right, there we go. When I designed this studio here, when I placed it in this corner, that was the extent of my design job. I thought, oh, this will be great because I'm right under the giant stadium-sized heating and air conditioning unit that basically heats this entire guest house, heats and cools. And I thought, well, that'll be convenient because it'll be hot and I'll get the nice cool air blowing on me. It's not convenient. It's freezing cold in the summer months, and it's really hot in the winter months because, like I said, this is this is basically like a guest house with, a 1-bedroom guest house with a kitchen, and then there's like a little area where we do this, and then there's a bathroom, and there's a little hallway here. It doesn't need to have a heating and cooling unit that is designed for an amphitheater, and that's basically what we got here. So, hey, I'll say that. It works well. All right, let's get into all of the things that are trending today. We got some fun things, guys. We got some fun things that we need to talk about. First and foremost, I got to tell you, there was a point last night where I'm watching news yesterday afternoon where I'm watching the news and I'm like, maybe I'll cancel the Mavericks game and just do a live stream where we track the spy balloon. I was like, the spy balloon. The Chinese spy balloon. Greatest story of 2023 so far. I mean, as far as like stories that get me going, ooh, I'm intrigued. This thing, from the moment it popped across my timeline, I was like, what? There's a Chinese spy balloon floating? That can't happen. And then I was like, well, I mean, because I'd known this from earlier. For years I've known this. 15 times a day. 15 times a day, there are multiple Chinese satellites that pass over the United States and do nothing but just track and take pictures of everything. Super high-tech Chinese satellites. It's a normal thing. And don't kid yourself, we we also do the same thing over China. We have I don't know that we got balloons. I don't know about that, but we certainly use planes. We have gone deep into China with a spy plane over their sovereign territory or whatever. I mean, we've done it before. 2001. Do you guys remember in 2001 when the Chinese military forced down an American surveillance plane? And then they took all of the not, I don't know, hostage or captive, but detained, I guess, for a period of time, the American crew that were on this plane. And then they stripped our plane of all of the tech and all of that. That was 2001. That happened. So, this shit happens. But not like this. This is crazy. This is just, there is a balloon that is floating. It's a Chinese balloon. I saw one girl on Twitter. Dude, you guys, these QAnon people. Here's what I love about the QAnon people. Whenever a truly interesting story like this breaks, I like to jump over and I like to start seeing what the kooks are saying. And in the very early stages of any story, they don't know what to think. They're all over the maps. Everybody's got a crazy theory that they're pushing, but nobody knows, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Because you never know with these people. You don't know which way they're going to go. And they have to wait to be programmed by their Q overlord to say, this is the agreed upon thing that we're going to say. So all that stuff comes out. So one QAnon lady, this was her argument. Or this lady went in the direction of, we can't trust anything the federal government says. So she was going in the direction of, I don't even believe this is a Chinese spy balloon. You can't trust the government. What? Because the government says it's a spy balloon? I think it's just something that they're using. She was talking about it. It was a thread. It was like, she gives you like the first one on Twitter and then it's like show thread. And I'm like, yeah, I want to read this thread. So I click on it and I'm like, yeah. She's just going on and on about how she doesn't believe that this is a Chinese spy satellite. And she thinks that it's just Biden collecting all kinds of evidence on whatever. Well, that's how they roll. But then the kicker was, she didn't believe it was a Chinese spy balloon because she saw a picture of it and there was no Chinese flag on it. These are those people. These are those people. Somebody who thinks a spy apparatus would be conveniently outfitted with the flags and annotations of whatever nation sent. That's not, oh, sweetie, that is not how espionage works. There's no Chinese flag on it. It can't be Chinese. Okay. Anyway, that's fun. If you want to fall into a really crazy little hole, just go jump into some of this stuff. So what is it? It's a Chinese spy balloon. That's exactly what it is. It's the Chinese. They sent a damn spy balloon. Oh my God. I mean, there's no doubt. Even our government is like, yeah, it's a Chinese spy balloon. All right, so here, I'll give you the story. And then, believe it or not, I've got some takes on it that I'd like to share with you. Chinese spy balloon flying over the U.S. right now, Pentagon says. God, I love this story. I love it. A Chinese surveillance balloon is collecting intelligence over the continental United States right now, U.S. officials disclosed Thursday, acknowledging that the Pentagon has been monitoring the craft for several days and briefly considered shooting it down before concluding that doing so posed a safety risk. To who? To who? It was over Montana. It couldn't be over a better part of it. It's not over greater Philadelphia. It's not like you shoot this thing down and it's going to come crashing through Pat's cheesesteaks. It's over Montana. This is where we shoot it down. Well, there's a risk to people on the ground. No, there's not. You figure out where you're going to shoot it down. You figure out the rough area where it could come down. And then you get like the local county police or whatever to just go. There's only like 5 people that live out there. Seriously, that really angered me when they're like, we can't shoot it down because it could hurt people on the ground. No, shut up. Shut up. That's not why. Now, if you tell me you can't shoot it down because you think it might be carrying some kind of, radioactive material or something causing some kind of problem. That's fine. But don't give me this bullshit about shooting it down over the middle of nowhere, Montana, being a potential hazard to people on the ground. And you know what else? If it is a hazard to people on the ground, well, that's just one of them tragic incidents. That's just one of those things that happen every single day. We get people in Walmarts getting shot up every single day, but you're going to allow the Chinese... Oh, here I go. I'm ranting. More on that later. Trust me, I got a whole rant on this. The balloon is traveling at an altitude well above commercial air traffic and does not present a military or physical threat to the people on the ground. This according to Brigadier General Patrick Ryder. A Pentagon spokesman told reporters in a hastily arranged news conference. That's who did it. Brigadier General Patrick Ryder. I'm Brigadier General Patrick Ryder. And I'm as American as it gets. The North American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD, continues to track the balloon's course, but officials would not specify its present whereabouts. Oh, that's okay. Everybody's got a phone. Everybody's got binoculars. We'll find out. Somebody will let us know. Briefly yesterday, it was trending that there's another one over Arkansas. Like people in Arkansas started chanting, look, it's another one. And then the National Weather Service had to go, no, that's actually one of ours. That's one of ours. That's a weather balloon. We launched it yesterday. That's what you're seeing. The striking development comes at a time of peak tension between the world powers and just hours ahead of Secretary Anthony Blinken. This is just only for my Chicago viewers. Whenever I hear Anthony Blinken's name, I immediately in my head go, when you're thinking Anthony Blinken, better carpeting for less call. It's a Chicago commercial. National 29000. National 29000. Anyway, anytime, I can't hear Anthony Blinken's name without going, when you're thinking Anthony Blinken. Anyway. The high stakes visits Blinken. He's not, by the way, he's not going to China. He's going, I am going to put my foot down. I am not going to go to China now because I've got a balloon. Okay, whatever. Very performative of you. How incredibly cool. The State Department did not immediately respond to a request for comment. In a statement Friday, the Chinese Foreign Ministry called the incursion unintended. Oops. We made a mistake. I don't know what, you know what I did there? That's you. That's the woke left. I like would have done a really silly Chinese stereotypical accent there, but for some reason at the last minute I pulled up and went kind of Russian and it didn't work. But anyway, the Chinese are saying they made a mistake. In a statement Friday, the Chinese foreign minister called the incursion unintended. It identified the craft as a civilian ship. Used for research, mainly meteorological, you get it, you know what I'm saying, purposes, and suggested that it had been blown off course. The statement did not specify what the ship's planned route had been. The Chinese side regrets the unintended entry of the airship into U.S. airspace due to force majeure. Force majeure. It was force majeure. Yeah, force majeure means... Oops! Force majeure means, we didn't mean to do it. We had no control over it, but it's a legal term. Force majeure. It just happened. It's basically the legal way of saying it is what it is. Not only is this a violation of American sovereignty, coming only days before Blinken's trip to China, but it also makes clear that the Chinese Communist Party's recent diplomatic overtures do not represent a substantive change in its policy, they said. The incident demonstrates that the threat posed by China is not confined to distant shores. It's here at home, and we must act to counter this threat, they added. And then it goes into some crazy political stuff that we don't do here. At the Pentagon, Brigadier General Ryder sought to offer assurances that any threat to U.S. national security was being appropriately managed. Oh, yeah? Because in and of itself, it seems to be a threat to national security. U.S. general warns troops that war with China is possible in 2 years. Okay, that's an unrelated story. Did you hear that little fucker? Oh, now, of course, because I turned the mic, you can't hear her. The dog is going nuts. And I can't let her in because she's been playing in mud puddles all morning, and I don't have time to suspend the show for 20 minutes while I give her a quick bath before she's allowed in here. These are the things I deal with. These are the everyday. The incident, first reported by NBC News, prompted a series of unusual events as the balloon was observed Wednesday over sparsely populated Montana. The state is home to numerous U.S. nuclear missile silos. Biden, upon being briefed about the development, requested military options. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, traveling in the Philippines, convened a meeting with senior advisors to assess how the United States might respond militarily, and they at least briefly discussed shooting down the balloon. Senior military officials, including General Mark Miley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, advised against such a move, citing concerns that falling debris could put people and property at risk. We don't want to get sued. We don't want to get sued by the Duttons at the Dutton Ranch. That's a Yellowstone reference. Thank you. Yellowstone reference. U.S. region, we know exactly where the balloon is. We know exactly what it is passing over, and we are taking steps to be extra vigilant so that we can mitigate any foreign intelligence risk. This official acknowledged that as the Pentagon contemplated how to respond as the balloon was over Montana, civilian flights in the area were halted, and U.S. military aircraft, including an advanced F-22 fighters, were sent to investigate the balloon. Ooh, they scrambled the jets and then did nothing. We wanted to make sure we were coordinating with civil authorities to empty out the airspace around the potential area. Okay, so there's a balloon that's up there. You've heard this story everywhere. It's an awesome story. It's the kind of story that makes me go, oh, this is fun. It's a story that shouldn't be political in the least. If you're an American, you should probably have one way of looking at this situation. But no, of course it's political. Of course it did what it never happened. That kind of thing. We got to deal with that. We got to filter out all the idiot noise and just look at this reasonably, okay? And first of all, let me just for a moment dabble into the political side of this. This is why I hate the Democrats. Okay. Hey, don't pump your chest, Republicans. I hate you people too. You people suck just as hard as the Democrats. Don't even kid yourself. This is like, what is better than the other? No, you both suck. I've been very clear on that from the beginning. You're all awful. But this is one of the reasons why I despise Democrats so much. I always say that the Democrats are always willing to fall on their sword to do what's right. Okay, I know this is the right thing to do, so I'm going to take full responsibility. Whereas the Republicans are like, prove it, bitch. I ain't done nothing. And then they don't do anything. And then we, the great unwashed, we completely lose our sense of what we're interested in. And we move on to the next thing. And then we forget. And then the guy that we wanted, we demanded he step down. And then the guy that we demanded step down doesn't step down. He's just there because he weathered the storm. Asshole move? Yeah, kind of an asshole move. Does it work? Is the end result what you want? Yeah, you're damn right it is. Not the Democrats. Democrats get Al Franken. Well, I know I'm a pretty powerful and much beloved Democratic senator from Minnesota, but my co-Democrat Christine Gillibrand is very upset by the picture of me from 20. So I, as a senator, am going to sit down and relinquish this seat because it's the right thing to do. Shut up. It's not the right thing to do. And Kristen Gillibrand, you shut up. Do you think the other side of the aisle would ever turn on one of their own? Look at freaking George Santos. That guy's not in any trouble. Well, he's in trouble, but you know what I mean? They're not making long speeches on the floor about how it pains me to say this about my brother in the Republican caucus. But no, they're not doing that because they don't do that. Because Democrats are pussies. Because Democrats are like all about honor. This is honor. We are honorable. And you know what? That's a very good way to live your life. Except that's not how politics is played. And it's never been how politics is played. And it's why they constantly let people down. Bunch of pussies. Long way around for me to say If Joe Biden had blown this fucking thing out of the air yesterday, it would have guaranteed his reelection. That's the kind of shit. Joe Biden, the next story we're going to talk about is the economy and the insane jobs report that came out today. They should be doing a victory dance. The Democrats should be having this should have been a bookend thing. This should have been a banner 48 hours for Biden. He could have blown up a balloon on live TV last night. He could have then had these jobs numbers today, and people would be like, but you know what? Nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit about the economy because all of us, except for a bunch of pussies out there, all of us are like, blow that fucking thing out of the sky. Would you just blow it out of the sky? Who do the Chinese think they are? They can't do it. If they want, now look, we can't blow their spy satellites out of the sky because we do the same thing. We don't want to start that whole thing. But this is just a show. This is an embarrassment. And the very idea that, Biden first said, I think we should blow it out of the sky. Well, I don't believe that. I believe that that's being leaked out there. I believe that it's being said that that's what he wanted to do. But then his generals, you're blaming it on the generals? Oh, you're out of your mind. These generals probably want to blow anything up they can. This is not a... But if we blow it out of the sky, see, this is how Dems, this is why I hate them. But if we blow it out of the sky, then the Chinese will get mad at us. Bitch, they're already fucking with us on every possible level. What are you afraid of? Show a little bit of strength here. I'm so pissed that I didn't get out of the Mavs game last night and be able to go watch video of a balloon being blown out of the sky over Montana. And don't tell me it's because you're afraid of some big chunk of metal falling on a cow's head, because that's honestly the most dangerous thing that could have happened. It was over Montana. Well, we may wait for it to go over water. Good luck with that. Good luck with that, because I'm sure now the Chinese, what Chinese drone pilot or whatever, I don't even know how this thing works. Whoever's controlling this thing, now they're just going to stay away from water. Oh, we're coming up on the Great Salt Lake. We better deviate about 100 miles to the south. Do you know what? For all of his flaws, and there are a lot of them, for all of his flaws, Donald Trump would have gone on live TV last night and then had live cameras. He's like, I want to show you what I'm doing now. And he would have blown that thing out of the sky on live TV while he's standing there in the Roosevelt room in front of the presidential seal going, that's what I do. Not Biden. We're just going to sit there and wait and watch. And again, folks, this is not, you know me. You know me. I don't do politics. This guy's good. This guy's bad. This shouldn't even be political. This should just be the Chinese, who are kind of an enemy, got a fucking balloon floating over our country, and we're just allowing them to do it. We're not going to do anything about it. It doesn't seem like it's dangerous. We're just going to let them do it. Have you no shame? Are you not even the least bit humiliated that they are? Because that's what this is. This is humiliating. Again, I take you back to 2021 when the Chinese military here was the other thing. Early on, what if there's somebody on it? What if there's somebody in that balloon? What if we injure a Chinese person on the... So Chinese didn't think twice about that in 2001 when they forced down our reconnaissance plane and then took all of our pilots hostage and then stripped our plane for everything. They didn't think twice about it. Us? Well, we're just going to monitor it. You know who's not saying that? You know who's being tougher than we are on this? Canada. Canada's like, yeah, we're watching it too, but gotta be honest, if it comes over on our side, we're blowing that fucker out of the air. That's Canada. Not us. Not us. We're worried that cows are going to get hurt. Seriously. If Trump was president, and I'm glad he's not, don't get me wrong. Although I'm not banged up that Biden is either, but I've been pretty consistent. I don't believe you should be president anymore if you're over 65 years old. I think that's the cutoff. I'm sorry. I just don't want these old guys at the end of their lives calling the shots anymore. Doesn't matter what party they're a part of. I want young people with something to lose, or younger people. That would have been a thing, though, wouldn't it? Well, Trump would have done that. Trump would have done it live on TV. and he'd have declared himself king of America forever, and people would have been like, well, he blew up the balloon. That was pretty cool. Not Biden. We're looking like bitches. We are totally looking like bitches. And look, there's also a part of me that recognizes, I always make fun of our eventual enslavement by the alien race. Oh, that's coming. The alien race, the UFOs that are up there, they're watching us. They're just checking us out. They've been watching us for years. And again, they're going to easily enslave us because they have the technology to get here, and we can't even successfully launch and re-enter our own atmosphere. So they're a little bit more technically advanced than we are. When the aliens come, man, and all of you idiot rednecks start shooting at the aliens, like first things first, they're going to be like, hey, we were just coming down here to give you all of this cool technology, but now fuck you, laser rays. And they're going to kill us all. So I'm not a big fan of the idea of shoot first, but these aren't aliens. These are Chinese. These are the aggressors. These are the people that we're doing sort of a Cold War with right now. Certainly an economic Cold War. There's issues going on in that part of the world with Hong Kong and Taiwan and all. So there's issues. They're not aliens. They don't have some laser death ray that they're going to kill us all with. We blow that thing out of the sky. We do. And I don't really care if I come off sounding like some macho idiot. It's the right thing to do. If for no other reason, national freaking morale. Could you imagine? I mean, just think about it. If Joe Biden had done what I just said, Trump undoubtedly would have done, gone on TV and blown it up on live TV. If Biden had done that last night, good evening, America. I'm standing here to let you know that currently we are engaged in a military operation against the Chinese spy satellite. If I could direct you to... He would bring us all into the war room. It'd be like we'd have the video. There'd be video, And then today, these job numbers come out where the economy is like, look, first of all, I think job numbers are bullshit. I think that they're all nonsense. I'll get into that. We're going to talk about that. But anyway, it would have been 2 major victories in a row. It would have been 2 undeniably good things. I say undeniably, knowing full well that if he had done that, if he had gone on live TV and blown the satellite or the spy balloon out of the sky, if he'd have done that, I know full well that 35% of the American population would be like, that was staged. That was deep state staging. That was not real. There was no balloon. He just didn't. I know that would have come, but still. Okay. Chinese authorities said on Friday that a suspected Beijing-operated spy balloon spotted hovering over sensitive U.S. airspace was in fact a civilian airship. China's foreign ministry said in a statement that westerly wind had caused the aircraft to stray into U.S. territory. The statement comes hours after Beijing urged Washington to remain cool-headed amidst its investigation into the incident. China's telling us to stay cool-headed. And we're staying cool-headed. We're doing exactly what they say. You know what? How does that conversation go? We want you to remain cool-headed. The response to that should be, shut your fucking mouth. This isn't about you and what you think right now. You got a goddamn spy balloon over our country. What do you want us to do with it? Because we're about to blow it out of the sky. Remain cool. Okay, we'll remain cool. It's upsetting. It's a win-win. It's also such a squandered opportunity. All right. Anyway, there you go. We'll keep you up to date on anything that's happening with the whole, spy balloon thing. But I hope we blow it up. I hope that cooler heads. I mean, there's gotta be political pollsters and political sharks that are in Biden's White House administration who right now are going, why aren't we blowing this up on TV? Why aren't we taking this win that has been handed to us? China's not going to start a nuclear war. They're not. And then that's the other thing. This whole, they got missiles that can travel around the globe. I know we all say that we have ICBM technology and all this kind of stuff. We've had it since the 1970s. It's never really been tried. I mean, it's really still just a theory. We don't stop it. Stop it. And by the way, China's just not going to go to nuclear war over a stupid spy balloon. What they're doing is they're making fun of us. They're making us look like bitches. And it's working. It's absolutely working. Secretary of State Blinken, when you're thinking Blinken, oh, the American response is just, he's not going to China now. Oh, really? We're in the middle of this standoff with him, and you're acting like not going to China is like something that you're deciding to do. You'd be a fucking idiot to go to China. I'm sorry. I know I'm saying the F word a lot today. It's got me all pumped up. You'd be an idiot to go to China today. What's the matter with you tomorrow? What's the matter with you? Nobody expects you to go to China. Stop acting like this is like some smart, thoughtful decision that you've made. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has postponed a planned high-stakes weekend diplomatic trip to China as the Biden administration weighs a broader response to the discovery of high-altitude Chinese balloon flying over its sensitive sites in the western United States. The abrupt decision came despite China's claim that the balloon was a weather research satellite. Oh, the dog is killing me. That had blown off course. The U.S. has described it as a surveillance satellite. Blinken. Go. You know what, Blinken? You idiot. Blinken, go over there. Go over there tomorrow like nothing happened. And then watch them, they arrest him for like war crimes. And then what would we do? They arrest the Secretary of State. We'd do nothing. We'd be like, oh, peril clutching. No, we're not going to start a war over Anthony Blinken. It's not about starting a war over Anthony Blinken. It's about they thought it was all right to kidnap and arrest the Secretary of State of the United States. Oh, these people. Oh, these Dems are the worst. They're not the worst. They're not the worst. But at this moment, it's a push. It is a push between... jobs. What should have been a great day for the Biden administration, but because these fools can't help but trip over their own dicks, should have been a great day. The jobs report came out, and it exceeded which is why I don't believe these numbers. The expected number of new jobs added in January was supposed to be 185,000. Jobs report come out. And it beat that expectation. New jobs added in January, 517,000. Okay. So, there you go. That's something, right? Oh, there's McDonald's. I can't afford McDonald's. McDonald's letting me know that they've got some deal today. By the way, to me, my New Year's resolution was that I wasn't going to have fast food in the entire month of January. And I made it. Entire month of January, no fast food. That was very good. I even went to a bunch of fast food restaurants because my son wasn't abstaining, so he got his Chipotle and we got a chicken sandwich at one point from McDonald's. And I got nothing. I went home and ate a salad, so I'm very proud of myself for doing that. And here we are. We're a couple of days into February, and I still haven't had any fast food. And I don't think I'm going to have. I think I'm going to push forward. I'm going to push on. I'm going to see how long I can go without imbibing in some fast food. But I'll tell you this. At some point very soon, I can't say I'm never eating fast food again. At some point, I'm going to need a Big Mac, and at some point, I'm going to need a patty melt from Whataburger. Those are two things I'm going to need. And now, at some point, I'm going to have to take my son to Portillo's, the new Portillo's up there in the Colony. I'm going to have to do that too, and that'll break my curse. That'll be not my curse, but my whatever. So 517,000 jobs were added in January. They expected 185,000. I tend to think that a lot of times these numbers are made up. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They could have released this. They could have done a victory dance, except nobody is going to give a shit about this boring economic recovery stuff, even though it truly does affect us all more than the spy balloon. But still, nobody is going to be talking about the jobs report today because everybody is screaming about how there's a balloon just floating unmolested across the United States and nobody's doing anything about it. So again, these Dems, all they do is trip on their own dicks. Unemployment is at its lowest rate since 1969. I don't believe that either. But whatever. Here's the thing about these economic numbers and why we, the great unwashed, don't give a shit about them. Because these numbers are simply to pad resumes of politicians or economists who think if we do it this way, we can see progress, and then the numbers come out and they're like, see, there's progress, but we do not feel that progress because whether an economy recovers or slips into a recession, these things do not happen overnight. They are an incremental shift that slowly prepares us for this shit. Things are not just going to, inflation's not just going to, we're not going to wake up tomorrow and go, oh, look, Dollar Tree dropped all their prices back to $1. And I know I always use that as an example, but I think it's a pretty pedestrian example and something that we can all relate to. Dollar Tree used to sell everything for $1. Everything was $1. You walked in, it was $1. And then inflation hit. Inflation was reported at 7-8% at the time. And so in order to keep pace with inflation, they raised everything 25 cents. So, they turned a crazy profit and, we're all like, whatever, it's just a quarter because it's incremental. It's small. A quarter is small. But when everybody who buys anything at a Dollar Tree is all suddenly throwing an extra quarter into it, they're making money hand over fist because we know that it's inflation and we expect it to go up. That's kind of how we experience the economy. It doesn't just happen overnight. I mean, a crash, I don't know. I wasn't around during the Great Depression and the preceding events of the Wall Street crash. I know that made a lot of rich people jump out of windows, but I don't know that on Black Monday, or was it Black Monday, the Wall Street crash? I don't know that on Tuesday following the crash, a butcher in Akron, Ohio was like, my life is completely different today. It wasn't. It takes time, and we are incrementally eased into these changes. So that's why these job numbers don't mean anything, because we've got the lowest unemployment rate since 1969. I got the same job. I'm making the same amount of money. This doesn't affect me. Really? We added 517,000. Well, that doesn't really. So the economy has ticked up 0.2% when you expected it to be flat. Oh, that's great. I don't feel that at all. We don't feel it. So these numbers are bullshit. These numbers are nothing but things that are created. They're real. I mean, they might be real, but they don't have any impact on the average person. So we don't give a shit about this. We care about the spy satellite because that's something we can all wrap our minds around. That's something that we see. It wasn't there. Now it's there. See? Unlike the slow drip of an economic change. Here's something else that's trending. Here's a fun one. Dallas Zoo has made an arrest. We got the guy. So, was it last Friday? I think it was last Friday. Might have been a Monday. Dallas police released a picture of the Dr. Doolittle of the hood. They found this guy, this kid, and they're like, we're looking for this guy. We think he might be the one who took the monkeys. They put it out there on social media, and it worked. They found the monkeys. Somebody recognized the kid, and somebody called the Dallas police, and they said, okay, here's the kid. This is his name, and this is where he stays. So, the monkeys might be there. And they went over there to the where saying the monkeys were in a closet. And they're like, we got the monkeys. Yay. Monkeys are fine, by the way. Although it was such bullshit. They're like, the monkeys were checked out by medical staff at the zoo, and they were deemed to be healthy. Although they've lost a little weight. Bitch, they were missing for like 3 days. What do you mean they lost a little weight? They're fine. They are fine. They were probably existing on like Mountain Dew and icy or Mountain Dew and flaming hot Doritos. They enjoyed themselves. Stop it. I saw the picture. They were in a closet. They had a little fence in the closet. The dude made some attempt to make it sort of, appropriate for a monkey. Anyway, they caught the dude. They caught him. He was seen at the Dallas Aquarium, which is wonderful for this story. He was, here's how they caught him. He was reported as being seen at the Dallas Aquarium, which makes you wonder, like, what's he really is. He's the Dr. Doolittle of the hood. He's just obsessed with animals. Probably can't go to college, wants to study animals. So this is how he has decided that he's going to, I don't know what his motivation was. I'm sure we'll find out because he's in custody now. But he was at the Dallas Aquarium. What was he going to steal a dolphin next? How do you do that? What was he planning? What was going on here? Dallas police say that they've made an arrest in connection with the case involving 2 emperor tamarin monkeys taken from the Dallas Zoo. Davion Irvin, 24, was arrested Thursday and is facing 5 counts of animal cruelty, non-livestock. See, that's the 5 counts of animal cruelty. We don't know that he was cruel to him. Why not just theft? He still, what the doctor said that the monkeys were fine, that they weren't like, you know, he didn't rape the monkeys. He didn't traumatize them. This is, you know what I mean? But, 5 counts of animal cruelty. And he's probably just some weird kid who's like, I just love animals, man. I would never be cruel. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's a possibility. Of course, he might also have been trying to sell it to a Colombian drug lord who wanted a monkey in his living room or whatever. But Davion Irwin was charged Thursday and is facing 5 counts of animal cruelty. He's been booked into the Dallas County Jail where he's being held on bonds totaling $25,000. It's $25,000. It is not clear if he's obtained an attorney. Earlier this week, Dallas police released a photo of an unidentified man they said they wanted to speak with about the case. That was the picture of Davion. Though they stopped short of calling the man a suspect or person of interest in the case at that time. The photo, police said, was taken from a video recorded at the Dallas Zoo. A tip received from someone who saw the photo led to the safe recovery of the missing monkeys, police said, but investigators still hadn't spoken with the man in the picture. Well, that all changed on Thursday. On Thursday, Dallas police received a tip that the man now identified as Davion Irwin, he should be Davion Steve Irwin. Davion Irwin was at the Dallas World Aquarium and was seen near animal exhibits. They got penguins there. I think a penguin might be easy for him to take. I would take a penguin. Maybe that was it. It was freezing, right? He's like, well, now would be a good time for me to take that penguin I've been wanting to take. Dallas police said that when officers arrived at the aquarium, Irvin was seen getting on a DART train. Officers then picked him up in the 1400 block of Pacific Avenue and took him to the Jack Evans Police Headquarters. Police said the investigation into all the zoo's cases is ongoing and didn't rule out further charges. Should we get a look at this kid? All right, let's get a look at him. I call him a kid. I don't know. I guess he's like 23 years old. He looks like a kid to me. All right. Let's see old Davion Doolittle. He's like a little Dr. Doolittle. Little hip hop Dr. Doolittle. All right, there you go. There you go. Look at them. Aren't they cute? Those are the little monkeys. I like how they got beards, like look at those like white beards. Those are cool. I mean, if I'm stealing a monkey, I don't know if I want one of these. I want a chimp, right? That's what we want. Or an orangutan. I want a chimp. I don't want one of these. This is like a guinea pig with opposable thumbs. Do they even have that? I don't even know. What's the difference? All right, so those are the monkeys. Here you go. That's the picture of him walking at the zoo that is taken from the Dallas Zoo. That's the picture that the Dallas Police Department put out saying, hey, does anybody know this guy? Good picture. I mean, not good like, oh, that should be his Instagram. No, I mean, good picture like you can tell who he is. So if you knew that guy, you'd be like, okay, I know that dude. And, there he is now. There's his mugshot. Davion! Come on, smile, kid. You didn't shoot anybody in Deep Ellum. This is a fun story. Yeah, you stole monkeys. It's crazy. It's silly. You don't have to be so hard. Besides, animals respond to body language. You should know that. If you're going to be like an animal guy, you got to always be non-threatening. This is not non-threatening, Davion. You look very, if I was a monkey, I'd rip your face off. You look very angry. All right, there you have it. There you have it. So monkey case closed. Now, is he responsible for the cheetah or whatever it was? Is he responsible for the death of like a vulture? Probably not. This dude, everything that happened, he gonna be blamed for everything that happens at the zoo now. He's like the human corona vaccine. He's just gonna be blamed for everything. 98-year-old gorilla dies at the zoo. It's probably that Davion. Was the monkey? Did the monkey have the vaccine? Is that why it died? The vulture. I suppose the vulture probably had the vaccine. Let's see here. Oh, Gary Glitter is trending. Gary Glitter. This guy. Never got this guy. This Gary Glitter. Well, why do people act like Gary? You know who Gary Glitter is? Gary Glitter, like pop superstar Gary Glitter. What? Pop superstar? Not in America. I don't know what you're talking about. Gary Glitter's got one song that we all know, and we don't even know it from when it was out. We only know the song because, we've been to sporting events, and Gary Glitter's Rock and Roll Part 1 is like, something that, this is what he's known for. Rock and Roll Part 2. Or is there a Rock and Roll Part 1? Right? This is it. This is all this dude ever did. Well, it's not all he ever did, unfortunately. Being the guy, and are there even words in this? Right? This guy, pedophile pop star Gary Glitter, has been freed from prison. Glitter, 78, whose real name is Paul Gadd, was sentenced in 2015 for the attempted rape, 4 counts of indecent assault, and 1 of having sex with a girl under the age of 13. He was one of the biggest musical stars of the 1970s. No, he wasn't. He did this song, and nobody even remembers this song until the 1990s. When NBA teams started playing it at their events. That's it. This guy wasn't a huge... He's not David Bowie. Hell, he's not even like... who's the other guy? Who's the lesser Bowie? I think he was the singer of... or the leader of T-Rex. Okay, I don't know. I used to get him confused with Gary Glitter. Honestly, the only reason I know who Gary Glitter is because he was arrested for pedophilia like 20 years ago. If when this song was something that we all used to like, this song's awesome. We're up by 20 in the third quarter. That's what this song was. If you would ask me back then, hey, who does this song? I'd go, I don't know. Who cares? I don't know. But anyway, revisionist history. Pretending that Gary Glitter was an international superstar. It wasn't. Name another song. Name something else that anybody would know from Gary Glitter. Let's see here. He was one of the biggest music stars of the 1970s. No, he wasn't. A Justice Ministry spokesman told the BBC that Gadd will be closely monitored by probation officers. The BBC understands he will be fitted with a GPS tag. Gadd had been at the height of his fame when he attacked 2 girls, aged 12 and 13, after inviting them backstage to his dressing room. His youngest victim had been less than 10 years old when he crept into her bed and tried to rape her in 1975. Gadd had been held at the HMP Bern. HMP, Her Majesty's Prison. Or I guess now it would be His Majesty's Prison. Let's see. A low-security Category C jail in Dorset, England. I don't know what that's about. Having received a fixed-term sentence, he was automatically freed halfway through his term. A Ministry of Justice spokesperson told the BBC that sex offenders like Glitter are closely monitored by the police and probation officers and face some of the strictest licensing conditions. Oh, do they? Well, they shouldn't be out in the first place. Child molesters, pedophiles, all this kind of stuff. These people should never, these are broken people. If we are going to be all sympathetic to them, oh, it's a disease. They can't help themselves. That may be the case. Okay, I'll go along with it. Is there a cure for this disease? No, there's no known cure. They're just always going to be sick. Well, then they can't be out in public. Okay? Sorry. They can't be out in public. If we can't fix them, and we admit, we'll go with you. It's a disease. He's just not a weird, creepy boogeyman monster who rapes kids. He's got a disease. That's fine. What's the cure for the disease? There is none. So he's always going to be this way? Yes, he's always. Well, then he can't be free. He can't. He's got to be human veal. Now, we can show compassion and we can show empathy, and we don't have to really have him out there breaking rocks or living in a prison with a bunch of mass murderers and freaks. We can create a whole different kind of pedophile prison. We can do that. If we are going to be compassionate and empathetic and think that it's a disease, and that's fine. And I think it is. It's got to be, man. It's got to be a disease, because it's maybe not a disease in the way that cancer's a disease. Every time you call it a disease, then you're disrespecting people with real. No, it's a brain malfunction. Okay, I don't have another word, so I'm just using disease. Maybe but it's a brain malfunction. It's a human being with a fucked up brain. And you know what? If it can't be fixed, he can't be out in public ever. Gary Glitter does 7 years for all of these crazy crimes, and now he's just out there. And in this crazy ass day and age, he's going to have supporters. A Gary Glitter podcast coming. I don't know. If the offender breaches these conditions at any point, he can go back behind bars. Gad will not be, here's the other thing. Gad Glitter will not be added to the sex offenders registry for these crimes because they were committed before the registry was introduced. Well, so what? So what? This isn't like an underage drinking grandfather law where, I was 18 before they changed it to 21. I should be able to drink. This is about protecting children. Put him on the goddamn list. It doesn't matter that it wasn't a law when he was in prison. It became a law while he was in prison, and now he's out. Put him on the damn... There is no common sense anymore. There is just no common sense anymore. It's not fair to him to make him register as a sex offender because that law didn't exist when he was offending. Are you listening to yourself? Seriously, that makes sense to you? Gad will not be added to the sex offender registry, blah, blah, blah. At the time of his sentencing in 2015, Judge Alistair McCreath, boy, that's the name of a British judge, huh? Judge Alistair McCreath said he could find no real evidence that Gad had atoned for any of his crimes. He described Gad's abuse of a girl under 10 as appalling and said it is difficult to overstate the depravity of this dreadful behavior. And by the way, it's the English spelling of behavior, which I like. I like how we share a language with them, but they try to scoreboard us with the spelling of certain words. Like behavior. Behavior. I don't believe that's how you spell behavior in America. Here's how you spell it in America. Behavior. Behaver. Behavior. You did all of them real and lasting damage. This is the judge speaking to Glitter. You did all of them real and lasting damage, and you did so for no other reason than to obtain sexual gratification for yourself of a wholly improper kind. Gad had denied the allegations against him, but was found guilty after a trial that lasted 3 weeks. So there you have it. Anyway, Gary Glitter's out of jail. Didn't expect to wake up to that this morning. I figured that creep show was going to be in jail for quite some time, but no, he's out now. You are sentenced to 17... What was it? You are sentenced to 14 years in prison, sir. I hope you learned your lesson. But we'll let you out in 7. Because that's how we do it. 14 years! But you're out in 7. Because, we say 14, but it's actually 7. What is that? What is that too, man? Is that just so people reading it in the moment can go, he got 14 years, and then he's like out in 7? This guy, come on. Okay, so going back to something I talked about, I've been talking about for the past couple of days, about how I truly appreciate crime. I truly appreciate clever crime. I appreciate innovative criminals, people who are doing things, not the way this is not your grandfather's carjacking. I appreciate the way. So we've been spotlighting some of that. There's a situation going on in New York's leather scene. The leather scene. You know what the leather scene is? No, that's not where you get your couches reupholstered. The leather scene is a subset of the gay bar scene in New York, and there are a number of leather bars. Guess that's what they're called. Never been to one. Not opposed to it. I would go. I would be a leather bar tourist. I would just go, look, so this is what goes on here. we did Kelly and I, we once did like a bar crawl. We used to do pub crawls all the time, but we decided, we should do one. We should do one for all of our, our homosexual friends and all of our, listeners and all that. We're a very prideful show. We were very friendly with that whole world. And why wouldn't we be? So we did we went to the neighborhood, and it was my first time. It was my first time in a gay bar. Yeah, right. No, it was. Um, it was fun, man. We had so much fun. My takeaway from our pub crawl, from all of the gay bars down there on Cedar Springs and stuff, was one. My God, are these bars more fun than your average sports bar? They just are more fun. That people are shitty fucked up. Everybody's dancing. The music is great. The bathroom scene was extremely disturbing for a heterosexual boy from the Midwest. It was it was not yeah, it was very strange. It was not the bathroom. Every couple of seconds the lights would go out in the bathroom. And I thought it was like maybe a glitch in the, but no, it was done on purpose. And then, like, the lights would go out and everybody'd start grabbing people. And I was like, oh God, hey, whatever, man. They forced. There was a time in this country where like gay people weren't, really welcome in other places, so they had to create their own environment. So whatever, it's fine. It's fine. We had a good time. The other takeaway I had from the gay bar was the women. Oh my God! And we've heard this. Now mentioned fairly. I mean, it's a very well known thing now. But I don't know that in 2004 or 2005 when we did this, if it was all that well known. I know that it was like a bucket of cold water dumped over me. The women in gay bars, unbelievable, just filled with straight hot women who, we just want to dance. It's hard to go to a regular bar and you can't dance because, there's always some guy creeping on you. But we come to the gay bar, they play great music and, and I'm like, okay, that checks out. I totally get that. I totally get why all of you hot single chicks are hanging out at the gay bar. I get it. And let me tell you, being the only straight guy is kind of fun. I was met a lot of people. We had a good time. Anyway, so that's the extent of my experience with the gay nightlife culture. Never been to a leather bar, though. I don't know if that's a thing in Dallas. And even if it was, I wouldn't. Boy, you're really saying that you're unfamiliar with that a lot. You're going hard on that one. People are starting to think that maybe you know more. Look, I should be so lucky as to be gay in 2023. If I was gay in 20, you better believe that I would own it. I would make, oh my God. It's like an advantage now. And like, especially in media, I work in media. It's like, so it's like a gay mafia that runs everything now. And good for them, they were marginalized for a long time, and now it's like they're in charge of everything. So trust me, if I was, I wouldn't lie about it. Anyway, here's some criminals. Some criminals are running game here in some leather bars in New York City, and I think it's kind of clever. 3 men who visited a New York City gay bar were robbed of thousands of dollars using facial recognition access on their phones. This, according to the New York City Police Department. The 3 men, who were in their late 30s and 40s, visited a Chelsea gay leather bar, the Eagle NYC. That's the name of the bar, the Eagle NYC. Let me write that down. Okay, so should I ever find myself in New York? No, come on, I'm kidding. They visited the Eagle bar in New York City on separate nights in October and November and were each robbed of $1,000 and $5,000 each, according to the NYPD's Deputy Commissioner of Public Information. No arrests have been made and the investigation is ongoing. Police believe that the criminals used facial recognition to access the victims' phones and funds once they were incapacitated. So here's how they do it. So they go into these bars and they flirt with a guy, like they probably got what do they call it when it's heterosexual? A honeypot? Like where the honeypot is where you enlist the services of a really hot girl to go and start flirting with some guy that you want information out of. So it's basically they get themselves a honeypot, a dude who goes into this bar and then just becomes like the most popular boy in the bar, and he like hooks up with somebody. And then at some point, too good to be true, the honeypot goes, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here and let's do some poppers in my car or whatever it is. I think that's like a drug that is popular in that community. So then they go and they do drugs in the car, and at some point the person is incapacitated, whether the drugs are like down or whatever it is. I don't know. They didn't go into details. But then as soon as the dude is out cold, the criminal takes the dude's phone and then uses like facial recognition. And how do you do that? Like, I don't have facial recognition on my phone. Like, if I was flirting with the guy, would the guy be like, what? I don't know. I don't know how that would work. Hold on. Would it be like this? There you go. All right. What? What? Oh, never mind. Nah, forget it. I don't know how it would work. Like, I don't have that on my phone. Like, do you have to make sure that like the person has facial recognition on their phone? Like, would that be a weird conversation starter? Like while you're dancing there in the club, or whatever it is. like you're dancing to some Pet Shop Boys. What kind of phone do you have? What? What kind of phone do you have? Oh, it's the kind with facial recognition. You want to get out of here? Yes. I mean, is that how it happens? Is that because that wouldn't work for me? So anyway, the person passes out in the facial recognition. They do it and they open the dude's phone, and then they just like transfer all the funds from the dude's bank accounts, Venmo, whatever it is. There you have it. All right, to my gay brothers in New York City, or you fucking dog. I'm going to kill this dog. You guys, we're going to have to take a quick break. I need to cool down after that Pet Shop Boys jam. I'll leave the mic on. You can hear me screaming at the dog. Trust me, go get yourself a little something to drink. Now would be a good time to tip the show if you're so inclined. The show does work on your kindness, so help us out if you can. I've got to let the dog in, and because there's nothing but mud out there, I'm going to have to clean the dog's paws, so bear with me. Enjoy. Be right back. All right, you little monster. You know what? No, you're not even allowed in here. Come here. Come here. Give me your paws. All right. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, I need you to sit down. Good girl. Give me your paw. Give me your paw. Give me your little mud paw. Oh my God. Stop it. You're getting mud all over me. You are a monster right now. You are filthy. No, dude, you know what? I don't think I can do this. I can't clean you right now. Give me the other paw. Ugh. You are filthy. Good Lord. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Holy fudge. No, you can't. No, you know what? No, get out of here. No, move. No, you do not go in there. You are not allowed in there. Move. Oh my God. It is worse than I expected. She is caked in mud. She is covered in mud. Her belly is full. She needs a bath. And we can't do that. Get out of there. You lay down. Oh my God. Oh no, baby. It's okay. I'm sorry. But you did this to yourself. Lay down. Oh, I'm going to need my carpets clean now. Oh my God. Yeah, really? Well, let me see if I can give you all a look at her. Hold on, let me disconnect this. See if we can get this. All right. Is this going to work? Yeah, look at her. There she is right now. She's just laying there. I don't know if you can see her paws or her belly. Her belly is filthy. CeeLo, you bet no, don't come. Oh boy, here we go. Here we go. She's mad at me. She's mad at me because she wants to go into the bedroom and lay in her little. She's got a little thing in the corner of the bedroom, but she can't because she's covered in mud. You're getting a bath. You are getting a bath as soon as this is over, and I'm not going to look forward to it any more than you are. All right. We covered the bar crime story, right? We did that bar crime. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here? Okay. Look at us. Look at us doing an extra large Friday show. We are. This is an interesting story. This is a nice story. This is, you know. Oh, jeez. Okay. Well, here's some breaking news. Kyrie Irving, a man who thinks the world is flat and that dinosaurs never existed. Kyrie Irving is demanding a trade from the New York Nets. Or Brooklyn Nets. New York Nets, whatever. Brooklyn's in New York. Can we stop acting like Brooklyn is a neighborhood? Brooklyn is like the only... don't get me started. I hate the whole New York. We make our own rules. The Brooklyn Nets are the New York Nets. Okay, Brooklyn is just a neighborhood of New York. Stop it. Black quarterbacks are trending. Black quarterbacks are trending because Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts are going to be starting the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts, Philadelphia Eagles. Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs. It's the first time in Super Bowl history where two black quarterbacks. Two black quarterbacks will be starting a Super Bowl. I laugh because I already saw like some guy on Twitter go, Patrick Mahomes is half white. Like, okay. All right, dude. You are so racist that you can't even give this moment its due. You gotta screw it up. I bet you never said that about Obama. I bet you never said he was half white. No, Patrick Mahomes is half white. Anyway, whatever. It is a pretty momentous occasion, especially when you consider that throughout even recent history of the NFL, the black quarterback was a unicorn. That was not something. Now, I as a Chicago Bear fan, I was introduced to the concept very early on. I believe the second black quarterback to ever start an NFL game was Vince Evans. Vince Evans of the Chicago Bears between 1979 and 1981. So, I mean, I was a Vince Evans fan. I didn't, the old heads. Well, see, the problem is that they're never going to win because you can't win with a black quarterback because those people, and I'm not racist. I'm just saying, I know some wonderful people. I have friends who are black. I'm just saying that those people do not have the mental capacity to be a quarterback. Dude, that was the whole thing. Like, really? Because here we are in the year 2023, and I don't ever want a white quarterback again. I'm telling you, you give me a Lamar Jackson, you give me a Dak, you give me a Tua, you give me a Jalen, you give me a Patrick, you give me a Justin, that's what I want. I don't want some slow white kid from Montana. Hey, you're kind of describing Josh Allen. He's not slow though. Yeah, you're right. Josh Allen is. But here's the thing. Josh Allen plays like a black quarterback. Oh, it's true. Oh, and what does a black quarterback play like, you racist? Well, you've backed me into a corner here. Here's okay. So I guess these may not be skill sets that need to be applied specifically to someone based on their skin tone, but there is a style of quarterback play which we'll call traditional, which is dependent on a good offensive line. It is dependent on strong route running by receivers. It is dependent upon being able to make quick decisions from a pocket. three-step drop pocket. You're not out there running around. Because if you're running around, then the play is busted. And if the play is busted, then what are we wasting? These are coaches. What are we wasting our time designing plays for? So that's the traditional style of quarterback. Yeah, Tom Brady is that. Peyton Manning was that. All the greats, that's what they were. But now there's the improvisational quarterback, and where it's not quite as important to be stuck in the pocket and take the sack or just throw it away. If you have the additional skill of being able to roll out of the pocket, of being able to create and improvise as plays develop, because plays do not always develop as they're supposed to in the time frame they're supposed to. We see this with Patrick Mahomes all the time. Patrick Mahomes allows every spectacular Patrick Mahomes play you've ever seen has been a busted play on some level. So whereas it used to be important for a quarterback to have receivers who could run routes with efficiency, we knew exactly, I'm just going to throw the ball where it's supposed to be, and you're going to run this route, and you're going to be there. I'm going to trust that you're going to be there. That's the traditional style. Now it's less about route running, although route running is still important, but it's more about being able to get separation. Because when you're improvising and you're trying to make something happen, the route broke down 3 seconds ago while he was running around like a chicken with his head cut off. So the game has changed. And the game had to change. And these quarterbacks are flourishing because of these changes. Now, it's just a lesser brand of football. What? Are you kidding me? You give me the worst team in the NFL in 2023, the Chicago Bears. You give me the 2023 Chicago Bears, and you put them up against the 1985 Chicago Bears, who I believe is the greatest single-season team in history. And I would not be surprised if the 2023 Chicago Bears playing 2023-style football just wiped the floor. Are you kidding me? Do you think Dan Hampton and Richard Dent would be able to chase down Justin Fields? He would make them look like the fat, slow beasts that they were. But back then, they had stationary targets because, in the Super Bowl, Tony Eason, he was a pocket passer. He was just going to stand there and hope for the best. And then, So anyway, the game has changed, man. It's a better brand of football today. The athletes are faster. The athletes are healthier. The athletes are stronger. It just is. But that's always going to happen. I'm going to be an old man. I'm going to be 70 years old, and we'll be talking about, the style of play then. But what you cannot deny is that athletes in general today in 2023 are far superior to how they've ever been. Training is different. Nutrition is different. Dependence upon things like speed is different. The speed of the NFL game in 2023 makes 80s and 90s NFL look like turtle races. It's just not, you can't, size is different because now it's all about speed. Middle linebackers used to be big. Dick Butkus. They used to be big, bruising. I'm just going to smash this lineman and I'm going to grab the quarterback's head and throw it into the dirt. Can't do that now. Because one, you can't grab the quarterback's head because he's super fast and you're not. There's no way. Anyway, that's a big deal. 2 black quarterbacks. We'll be hearing a lot about that. Last night, when I came home from the Mavs game, I was watching CNN, and they had it was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool conversation. They had Jalen Hurts on. They had Patrick Mahomes on, so the 2 quarterbacks will be facing off. They had Doug Williams. Doug Williams was on. Doug Williams was the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl with Washington Redskins back in the 80s. It was an interesting conversation. All right, what else do we have here? So this is trending. And I don't know why it's trending, but it's trending, whatever. So we're coming up on Super Bowl week here, so we'll talk about it. Gracie Hunt. Do you know who Gracie Hunt is? Gracie Hunt's my neighbor, for one thing. Actually, I don't think her family house is like right down the block. I live in this neighborhood where there are 2 owners of professional football teams who live down the block. I got Jerry Jones of the Dallas Cowboys, and then Clark Hunt the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs, lives like kitty corner from Jerry Jones. He's like, well, why would the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs live in Dallas? Because the Kansas City Chiefs used to be the Dallas Texans. They were originally a Dallas-based football team, and then the AFC-NFC merger happened, and they were like, let's just have one team in Dallas, and it was the Dallas Cowboys who were allowed to stay, and the Hunt family said, okay, well, we'll just move our team from Dallas. We'll put them up in Kansas City. But the family stayed here. So Gracie Hunt is trending. Gracie Hunt is the daughter of Clark Hunt. She is set to inherit the Kansas City Chiefs, and she's a social media star. She has become a social media star. Now, I know of her because we get this stupid magazine dropped off here in Highland Park. It's like the Highland Park Society page, it's something like that. And I don't know, and I've looked through it and all that stuff. And I've for the last couple of years that I've been living here, it's like I've become very familiar with Gracie Hunt, and she is trending. I don't know why, other than the fact that and we'll show you why she's trending. Because this woman is going to be an owner of an NFL team one day. Here we go. Who is Gracie Hunt? Why is she trending? All right. Sure, we'll continue. Boom! There you go. That's one reason. Ladies and gentlemen, Hotsy Totsy, Gracie Hunt. She is fantastically gorgeous and super rich. She played soccer at SMU, and she went to Highland Park High School. All of this stuff. Anyway, this is why she's trending. Is there any other good? Oh yeah, look at her here. Look at her. Look at that. That's your boss. Hey, Patrick Mahomes, that's your boss. Good Lord. Usually you have to marry a billionaire to look like that and inherit a team. And even then, you don't look like that, because by the time your billionaire husband dies, you're like in your 60s and you're still kind of hanging on. But you ain't like that. You ain't like Gracie Hunt. Or any other good pictures of old Gracie Hunt? All right, there you go. Don't know why she's trending, but she is trending. And I thought it was interesting because why not? Why not look at Gracie Hunt, right? Patrick Mahomes' boss is an absolute smoke show. Another little bit of football news here. We almost talked about this yesterday. I don't know why I skipped over it, but we'll bring it back because it's trending again today. But Arian Foster is trending. Arian Foster is a former NFL player. I love Arian Foster. I've always loved Arian Foster. And I ain't talking about him as a running back for the Houston Texans. I'm talking about Arian Foster, the dude. Arian Foster, the dude, is really smart. He's an intellectual. He writes poetry. He was a philosophy major in college, right? Most of these guys are like gym coaches. If it doesn't work out in the NFL, I'm going to be a gym coach. No, he was like a philosophical studies major and all this kind of stuff. Super, super interesting guy. Adrian Foster, not necessarily weird. Weird, I guess, when you drop him against the expectations of what an NFL football player should sound like and talk like. But a normal guy. Like if he wasn't Arian Foster, the football guy, he'd be your friend at work. You'd be like, that dude's cool. He knows a lot of stuff. He's funny too. So Arian Foster is trending because he participated in a bit that went nuts, that people on social media, because social media is filled with a bunch of disingenuous fools, edited and took out of context an appearance that Arian Foster made on his own podcast, in which Arian Foster, the clip that was circulating 2 days ago, had Arian Foster on this podcast admitting that the entire time that he played in the NFL, that the seasons were scripted, that during training camp you would show up in the locker room and there'd be a script there, and you would have to do everything according to the script, and that's why when people say the NFL is rigged, they're right. It's like wrestling. He went on and on. He said all this stuff, and then they edited it without the proper context, and it started circulating, and people went nuts. Arian Foster, he admitted it. The NFL, first of all, moronic. Anybody who would think that the NFL could be scripted and that the players would receive scripts. Do you know how ferociously covered NFL teams are? I mean, here in Dallas, we know. Do you think that for the past 50, 60 years of Dallas Cowboy football, do you think that like someone at the ticket wouldn't have stumbled across a script? That somebody who had left, you don't think Des Bryant on his way out the door wouldn't have burned the whole thing down? What is wrong with you people? The NFL isn't scripted. So Arian Foster was kidding. He was kidding, but they didn't include that in the clip that went viral. So all the dummies, all the Q types and all the just, waterheads out there, they all went, he's admitting it, without ever really thinking it through about, well, how would you implement something like that? How would you keep every NFL player who has ever, the drug addicts, the criminals, the ones who feel that the teams screwed them over, the ones who feel the league screwed them over, the ones with brain damage? How could you ever think that would be kept secret? That the NFL was scripted and that they received actual scripts in spring training or training camp. NFL players reveal their reactions to the scripts they were given. One says, I almost walked out of the facility. See, what's happening here is a whole bunch of NFL players are jumping on this and going with it. Like, they're like, okay, I like the bit. We'll keep going. Yeah, it's totally rigged. I remember I had an argument with the way they had my character performing. Ex-NFL star Arian Foster's sarcastic explanation about how the league was rigged brought along some hilarious responses from former colleagues on Wednesday. The former star running back for the Houston Texans sarcastically talked about the NFL being rigged in the latest episode of the Barstool Sports podcast, Macro Dosing. New Orleans Saints running back Alvin Kamara, Baltimore Ravens cornerback Marlon Humphrey, and New England Patriots pass rusher Matt Judon were among the NFL players to chime in. PFT commentator, one of the hosts of the show, sarcastically told the audience that Foster told him a script would be dropped off at his locker before the start of each season. And he said that jokingly. The host said, well, we all know that a script was dropped off. And then, because obviously Arian Foster understands the first rule of improv, it's yes and. The first rule of improv is that when somebody offers a contention, something like the way this guy did, he started the conversation jokingly by going, well, we all know that, when the script is dropped off, the way to improv is yes and. You don't go, oh, that never happened. That's funny. You go, yeah, they did. They dropped off a script. And then you build on it. That's how it works. And Arian Foster he did some terrific improv here. And then, of course, people are stupid and they went, oh, he was serious. We were really dedicated to it. The script, Foster said. So it was more so like that's what practice was about. It was about practicing the script. This is what goes on. This is what we have to do. WWF, so it's like we know what's going to happen ahead of time. You still got to put on a show, though, the 4-time Pro Bowl running back said. He was then asked about the script he got when his career fell off a cliff, when he stopped believing in God. Anyway, it's funny. If you've seen this going around, it's a joke. It was a joke, and you dummies didn't know. Not you dummies. You people part of the show, you're all way too smart for that. But the dummies out there, they believed it. They believed it. Why? Because they wanted to believe it. And too many of us are existing in that world right now. We don't like reality. Reality is that we've got bills to pay. Reality is that woman we're in love with doesn't love us back. We don't like reality. What we like is to believe what we want to believe. And what the hell? That's the world we live in now. We just hear something and it's like, I kind of like the way that sounds. I'm going with that. We do not. This is we have completely broken the boundaries of reality. It's insane. All right, so that's why he's trending. Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is trending. Cincinnati Bengals running back Joe Mixon is trending. Joe Mixon's got himself in some trouble. Joe Mixon is a real piece of shit. All right, you Joe Mixon fan? Oh, I love him. He's a great running back. Yeah, well, you know what? He's got a nice long track record of beating the snot out of women and doing crazy things and being an a-hole. In college, he did beat up his girlfriend in college. And anyway, here's the latest. An arrest warrant has been issued for Cincinnati Bengals running back Joe Mixon An arrest warrant has been issued for Cincinnati Bengals running back Joe Mixon on one count of aggravated menacing. That means he had a gun. Mixon is accused of pointing a gun at a woman in downtown Cincinnati and telling her, "You should be popped in the face. I should shoot you right now. The police can't get me," according to a warrant obtained by WKRC. WKRC in Cincinnati. The incident allegedly took place on Saturday, January 21st, one day before the team's game against the Buffalo Bills. The Bengals issued the following statement to WCPO regarding the reports. They said, the club is aware misdemeanor charges have been raised against Joe Mixon. The club is investigating the situation and will not comment further at this time. Court records did not list an attorney for Mixon. The 26-year-old Mixon rushed for 814 yards and 7 touchdowns this season, his sixth. He also had 60 receptions for 441 yards, both career highs, and 2 touchdowns. He was a second-round draft pick out of Oklahoma in 2017. Mixon has spent his entire career with Cincinnati. In 2014, when he was 18 years old, Mixon punched a female Oklahoma student in the face, an attack captured on surveillance video. He was suspended from the football team for a year and entered an Alford plea, in which a defendant does not admit guilt, but acknowledges there is sufficient evidence for a conviction. He received a deferred sentence and was ordered to perform community service and undergo counseling. The incident at Oklahoma undoubtedly hurt his standing in the draft, with several teams saying that they passed on him because of concerns about his character. All right, well, apparently he did not learn his lesson because he's still being a D-bag. All right, a couple of deaths. We got a couple of deaths we got to talk about here. A couple of people died. I'm not a big wrestling guy. I don't have a problem with wrestling. My 13-year-old son likes wrestling, so I've recently retaken to sitting and watching some things. I'm not a wrestling guy. When I was very little, I loved wrestling because I was very little. What's your excuse, 45-year-old man? I mean, I don't know. I was little, man. I liked wrestling. This got to skip this. I don't need this. All right, let's close this. But anyway, one of the wrestlers from my childhood has died. Leapin' Lanny Poffo, the genius. He had a couple of different names. Leapin' Lanny Poffo was a wrestler that I was very interested in. He wasn't a big star. He was sort of a mid-level guy. He filled out cards in the early 80s and stuff like that. He was Lanny Poffo was big on now, you know how, like, here, I got to tell you. So all of my Dallas friends, right? They talk about the Von Erichs, right? Oh, the Von Erichs were everything in wrestling and blah, blah, blah. And, blah, blah. I'd never heard of the Von Erichs until I moved to Texas. I was like, what? Because they were regional. They were like, I know that they dabbled nationally, but they were known for this regional. That's back in the day before the WWE really blew up, or WWF, which was it? I don't know. What is it now? Who knows? Who cares? Which one? World Wild was. Okay, so it used to be WWF. Now it's WWE. Yeah. So, I mean, they really unified from coast to coast a primetime A-list sort of wrestling circuit. But there was all local wrestling circuit. Like in Chicago, we had this crazy Midwestern wrestling circuit that, we had all the people from Canada, like the Hearts and stuff like they were our Von Erichs. They were we had like King Kong Bundy and Dick the Bruiser and, and Leapin' Lanny Poffo and his brother, Randy Poffo, the Poffo brothers. I remember that from being a little kid. And by little kid, I mean 7, 8 years old, watching these wrestling events on Saturday afternoons. It's cool. It was cool. From the International Amphitheater in Chicago, it's Leapin' Lanny Poffo and his brother, Fun fact, Randy Poffo, Leapin' Lanny Poffo's brother, was known by a different name, Randy Macho Man Savage. Oh, yeah. They're a couple of kids from Downers Grove, suburb of Chicago. That's why they were in the local scene there. Lanny Poffo died. Leapin' Lanny died. His brother Macho Man went on to obviously be one of the Mount Rushmore of wrestling, right? I mean, I guess that argument can be made. He was a big star. You got your Hulk Hogan. You got your Ric Flair. Do you put Macho Man in there? I don't know. Maybe Andre the Giant, the Rock. We got to probably include some people from the modern era. I don't know. Anyway, the WWE is saddened to learn that Lanny Poffo, best known to sports entertainment fans as The Genius, passed away at 68 years of age. He started with the son of Angelo Poffo and younger brother of WWE Hall of Famer Macho Man Randy Savage. Lanny Poffo had a style all his own, arriving in the WWE in 1985 alongside his brother. Leaping Lanny Poffo was one of the first high flyers in the WWE. While he achieved some success as a fan favorite, reading his own poetry and throwing frisbees to the crowd, he reached new heights as the Genius while managing Mr. Perfect. WWE extends its condolences to the Poffo family, friends, and fans. So, I don't do a lot about wrestling, but I do remember him. I remember the Poffo brothers from Downers Grove, Illinois. And I'll be like, okay, that's just 2 towns over. We know these guys. And then, of course, you had to become a Randy Macho Man Savage fan because you were like, that's Randy Poffo. And then, I don't know, I started liking girls and I stopped watching wrestling, and then that all, went away. One more death that we have to report here. And this is one. This is what I probably wouldn't even report this other than the fact that this is what I smelt like for a good 10 years of my life. Ladies and gentlemen, Paco Rabanne has died. Paco Rabanne. I didn't even know that there was a dude named Paco Rabanne. You guys remember Paco Rabanne cologne? It was Paco Rabanne. There was like there was a time in my young high school age where there were 2 smells. Axe body spray hadn't been invented yet. Now everybody between the age of 12 and 17 smells like Axe body spray. That's just how kids smell now. Or boys anyway. Yeah, don't worry about it. You don't have to shower because they've invented a shower in a can, and it's called Axe body spray. But when I was in high school, you were either a Polo by Ralph Lauren, or you were a bit more sophisticated. You were a bit more swarthy. And you were a Paco Rabanne guy. I was a Paco Rabanne guy. Paco Rabanne. Paco Rabanne was a real dude. I had no idea. I just thought it was a fancy name for a cologne. Paco Rabanne has died at the age of 88 in Port Salut, France. The fashion designer's death was announced on his company's Instagram Friday after, along with a black and white portrait of him captured in 1999. The House of Paco Rabanne wishes to honor our visionary designer and founder who passed away today at the age of 88. The caption read, among the most seminal fashion figures of the 20th century, his legacy will remain a constant source of inspiration. Never, ever have I ever heard of this guy as a fashion designer. I have never, ever seen a Paco Rabanne jeans or Paco Rabanne. He was a cologne guy. That's how I knew him. Cologne. Actually, I didn't even know it was a dude. Again, I just thought it was a name attached to the cologne. The statement continued, we are grateful to Monsieur Rabanne for establishing our avant-garde heritage and defining a future of limitless possibilities. Jose Manuel Abassa, president of fashion and beauty at Puig, a fashion and fragrance level, and Paco Rabanne's parent company, confirmed the news in a statement to several media outlets on Friday, adding, Paco Rabanne made transgressions magnetic. Who else could induce fashionable Parisian women to clamor for dresses made of plastic and metal? Nobody. He didn't make them. I don't remember any. Anyway, Rabanne founded his fashion house in 1966 and was best known for his space-aged aesthetic. Throughout, many of his designs were a mashup of futuristic metallics and lots of shine. The late designer's debut collection was titled Manifesto. I don't care. Who cares? I'm getting tired of these. I'm getting tired of doing these pronunciations. After being acquired by Puig in 1987, the designer retired a little over a decade later. While Rabanne's business shut down briefly, it was revived in 2011 with creative director Julien Ossagnan at the helm, and several fragrances were then relaunched under the brand. I don't care. They're talking about which was an alluring mix of jasmine, mango, and incense. They're talking about his stupid colognes, which I liked. Actress Lindsay Lohan also left condolences in the comment section on Friday, commenting with a dove emoji, heart. And, some fashion designers, when they die, you'll get like Julia Roberts or, somebody big, Jennifer Lopez. Not this dude. This dude got Lindsay Lohan. All right. Good. Thank you for making me smell like I don't know, like a Frenchman for about 10 years of my life. I did like it. I did like Paco Rabanne. Polo gave me a headache. Everybody wore polo back then. It was like, oh, putting on my polo. Could I borrow some polo? I couldn't wear anybody's polo. It would give me a headache. Something about that smell. Just, I hate it. I think even back then I hated elites. Right? I think even back then I was against the 1%er. And the polo cologne just seemed like, I'm not going to wear the popped collar and I'm not going to do the cologne. No, I'm going to be swarthy. I'm going to wear some I'm going to be a swashbuckler. All right, guys, that's about it. That's about it as far as stuff that I have prepared for you today. Once again, I'll make a final plea. If you want to support the show, you can do that. Please do. Drop a little something in the tip jar. Be greatly appreciated. We will be doing a show on Monday. Look, in the near future, there will be some changes coming. I won't beat a dead horse, but since that decision has just recently been made, I need to say it a couple of times just so that everybody understands and they don't think that, well, I don't really know what they're going to think. What is happening here? What is happening? What is trending right now? Let's jump on Twitter. Venmo, Cash App, all that stuff is down there if you want to help out the show. Thank you. Kyrie Irving is trending. We talked about that. That broke while we were in the middle of another story. Kyrie Irving is demanding to be traded. Oh, boy, I bet there's just a whole bunch of teams that can't wait to get into the Kyrie Irving business. He's a dummy. He's like a distraction. Kevin Durant is also trending, probably having something to do with Kyrie Irving. So is Ben Simmons. I'm guessing that has something to do with Kyrie Irving. Trying to do anything. Space Force is trending. This has to do with Chinese spy balloon, right? Let's see. Why is Space Force trending? Yeah. We don't need dummies. We don't need Space Force. We don't need Space Force to take down the balloon, the Chinese spy balloon. Stop it. We got plenty of things. First of all, there is no. They should use the space. Like, people actually think. Do people think that we have spaceships? Do people think that? Like, well, we got Space Force, so we gotta have X-wing fighters up there flying around, or TIE fighters or whatever. We don't have anything. Space Force are a bunch of guys on the ground that use a whole bunch of Air Force materials. That's. They want Space Force. Let's get Space Force involved. If there's a need for what Space Force is good at, they'll be involved. But it's not like they've got their own. We don't have spaceships, guys. Again, I keep saying this. We cannot even consistently get off a launch pad out of our orbit and then re-enter our atmosphere without every, 50 times everybody dying, right? I mean, that's where we are. We're still not there. We don't have space. We don't have lasers that we can shoot at people in space. We're not there. We're not there for another 500 years. What is this? Tristan Thompson is trying. I don't want to talk any sports. I don't have any idea what's going on here. All right. I think that's going to be it. Guys, I think that's it. We'll, hey, you know what though? Look, here's hoping. How great would a Friday night live TV shooting down of the Chinese spy balloon be? Biden, if you want to win re-election, and I do not want you to win re-election. I want somebody new. I want somebody under 65 years old. And then we'll visit those candidates. Then I'll let you know among those candidates who I want and who I don't want. But seriously, dude, if you made a big show of this, if you just did a whole thing on Friday night. Hey, did you hear about them jobs numbers? That was pretty great. Here, to celebrate the jobs numbers, I'm going to blow this balloon up out of the sky on live TV. Oh, we'd love it. We'd love it. We love it. And then all the people, here would be the fun shift. All of the people who for the past 24 hours have been saying, Biden needs to blow it out of the sky. Trump would. all of those people will immediately go, you can't just kill cows with falling shrapnel. They should never have done it, because those people have absolutely no moral anchor. They have no intellectual anchor. It's just they're just like they're like a half-filled water bottle. They're just swishing over to whatever side, you know. But I want to see that. I want to see that. Hell, I might, I was gonna say I might even vote for Joe Biden if he did that, but I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could do that. It would be cool though. It would be totally cool to blow that thing out of the sky on TV tonight. What do we got? Is there anything on TV tonight? Like, is there anything? I don't even know. Speaking of this weekend, that could be fun. What's new? We got anything new on Netflix we can talk about? You know what I was thinking I was going to try and watch? I think I'm going to lose my Netflix soon. They're doing that thing where you can't share, they won't let you share things. There's that new Pamela Anderson documentary that's on Netflix. I might watch that. Though I don't know. Hey, by the way, I saw this interview. I saw an interview with Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee's son. It was just a little clip of Pamela, the offspring of Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee. They got two. This was one of them. I don't know which one this was. I don't make any distinction. They're just whatever. But what an impressive young man. I mean, absolutely not at all what I would think would be the son of Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson. Well, I mean, this is what money gets you, right? It gets you the best private schools. It gets you the top education. It gets you a level of sophistication and elegance that possibly your parents didn't have when they created you. And now you've got this, like, he was an impressive kid, is all I'm saying. He was a very impressive young man, the son of, and young man, he's probably in his 20s. Can you believe that? Can you believe how old that? He's probably in his mid-20s. So I might watch that. I might watch that just to see a little bit more of what her kids turned into, because the one that I saw, I was very impressed by. Looked like Tommy Lee, too. Looked like Tommy Lee, but with like a weird hipster mustache and glasses, and he was wearing a tuxedo. He looked good. He looked like he could be a movie star. You know what I mean? But whatever. I was impressed by him. So there's that. There's the Pamela Anderson thing. You guys seeing, is there anything else new on any of these? Pinocchio, that weird Pinocchio movie looks like it's on Netflix now. Bullet Train is on Netflix now. All right. I guess that might have been on there for a while. Trending now. What's Gunther's Millions? I don't know what Gunther's Millions looks like. A documentary about a dog that inherited millions of dollars. I can't watch that. I will blow my fucking head off. If I seriously have to sit and watch a documentary about a dog that was left millions of dollars and now people have to like treat this just fucking end me now. Just end me now. Gunther's Millions. A dog with a trust fund isn't the strangest part of this story. Gunther's eccentric handler also lived a luxe life with a cult-like entourage. Okay, it's a documentary, I guess. I'll see that. I'll look at that. Gunther's Millions. Can you tell I got nothing to do today? This is because this is what I would be doing. I would just like sign off. I'd be like, I wonder if there's anything to watch tonight. Let's plan out what I'll watch this evening before I make a little lunch and then give the dog a bath. Oh my God, I forgot I gotta give the dog a bath. Oh God, that's gonna be awful. What does Hulu got? I don't know. I don't know what Hulu's got. What about Amazon Prime? Is there anything on Amazon Prime? Yeah. So pretty soon, anybody who shares a Netflix password, they're gonna get bounced. I'm gonna get bounced from Netflix. Whatever. I don't care. They're making it so you have to, every 31 days, you have to connect to the Netflix account from the address where the account is listed. So if you're like a college student who, uses your family Netflix account, they're going to be like, nope. Fucking Netflix. Really, you're not making enough money? You can't just, the system is fine. You guys aren't losing money. You guys, it's fine. Just dicks. Just being dicks. Whatever. I don't care. All right. I don't know. I can't find anything else. I don't know if there's anything on it. What do you guys got? Anything? You got anything that you want to? What is Rob saying? What is Rob suggesting? Poker face on Peacock. Seth, I can't do it. I can't do it. I know. Everybody's like, poker face is so good. Poker face is so good. I can't watch Peacock. All right. You know what? Maybe I can watch Peacock. Maybe I'm wrong. Explain this to me. If I watch Peacock, do I have to watch commercials? I won't watch anything that makes me watch commercials now. If I have to watch commercials, and by the way, I do not include YouTube commercials because you know, like how YouTube, if you watch something on YouTube, they make you watch commercials, but they give you like 5 seconds, you can skip it, you know? Or at the very worst, you have to watch a full 11-second commercial or maybe 2 11-second commercials. That's fine. I can do that. But like on Peacock, do they make you like sit through commercials? I don't. And also, I don't even know. Yeah, I know what it is. I know what it is. I need to know if I'm very clued in. I'm the popular culture. I know what poker. I love Natasha Lyonne. I think she's cool as hell. Natasha Lyonne is weird, right? Because like, okay, so here would be the question: could you date Natasha Lyonne? I don't think I could date Natasha Lyonne. I mean, and there's stuff to work with there. I mean, you know, look, physically, it's not like, oh, I'm not attracted to her. That's not it. I am non-romantically, or no, I am romantically non-attracted to Natasha Lyonne for reasons other than her physical appearance and all that stuff, which she's a fine looking woman. She's fine. She just carries herself like a dude. Like I think I could be friends with her. Like I think she'd be like my best friend. Like we could hang out and we could drink, we'd have fun and we make fun of people and she's witty and smart and but she's not my kind of girl. You know, she's just a little bit does she even like guys? I don't. Not that it matters. It doesn't matter. Look, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm just, we're just spitball. I'm just wondering. Natasha Lyonne, does she like dudes? She like dudes, or is she? Because I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be. It wouldn't change anything. But I'm just, maybe that explains why. Anyway, we'll move on. Peacock. Do we have? So is somebody going to answer? Premium version has no ads. Yeah. Okay. I'm not paying for NBC Peacock. I'm just not. Maybe I should. People are like, Peacock's good. You know what I need? I need my friend Ed involved. If I'm gonna watch Peacock, my buddy Ed's gonna be involved. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Ed, you know what I mean? Do we need to watch Peacock the way we watch things? We have a secret way. Can't let the world know because then everybody will want to be in on the secret way. But I don't know, Ed. You let me know. Is Peacock good? Oh, also, Ed, if you're listening, Ed is, of course, the genius behind RadioMisfits.com. Everybody needs an Ed. Everybody needs an Ed, but you can't have mine because he's already spread way too thin. What is the there is a movie that I want to see. I really want to see, and I would like to let Ed know that I really want to see this movie. It's the new David Bowie documentary, Moonage Daydream or something. Oh, what's it called? Hold on. What is this called? It looks really good. I love music documentaries. I love documentaries about Hollywood and, but then also I like the music stuff. Stupid name. Moonage Daydream. That's what it is. 2022 film. Moonage Daydream. Let's see. What is it? What's the description of Moonage Daydream? Moonage Daydream is a 2022 documentary film about English singer-songwriter David Bowie. Written, directed, produced, and edited by Brett Morgan, the film uses previously unreleased footage from Bowie's personal archives, including live concert footage. It is also the first film to be officially authorized by the Bowie estate, and it takes its title from the 1972 Bowie song of the same name. Moonage Daydream had its world premiere at the 2022 Cannes Film Festival, where it received positive reviews. It was released theatrically, blah, 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 blah. Synopsis. The documentary uses a montage-style editing format to convey a biography of Bowie, utilizing film clips and interviews from throughout his career. I'm just throwing it out. I'm just throwing it out there to my guy, Ed. If Ed has any suggestions on ways that I might be able to see Moonage Daydream, I am all ears, my guy. And Poker Face. Everybody says Poker Face is so good. I guess I got to watch Poker Face, huh? I guess that's a thing. Ugh. What? What is happening here? What is happening? There we go. All right. Hey, I'm hoping that maybe I come back on to cover the destruction of the Chinese spy balloon. That would be fun. But is this story just going to go away? Like, are we just going to step talking about it? Is this now? Do I need to start watching like one of those? Like, is Fox News covering it wire to wire? Because I don't think CNN is. CNN sucks. God, I hate CNN. Big fight going on at CNN on the morning show between Dandy Don Lemon and Caitlin Collins. Yeah, apparently they don't like each other. Apparently Don Lemon yells at her a lot off the air because she interrupts. And then I watched a video of examples of why Don Lemon hates Caitlin Collins, and he's right. He's right. She interrupts. She totally interrupts for nothing. And you can see him like slowly simmering. Caitlin, hold on. Let me finish. Caitlin, hold on. And then apparently he goes backstage in a commercial break or whatever and screams at her. You gotta let me finish talking. And you know that's got to be authentic because I don't like Don Lemon. I've been saying I don't like that Don Lemon guy. He bugs me. I don't have an opinion on Caitlin Collins. Although in this scenario, I did see the examples of her interrupting him, and having worked with a partner, it would totally irritate me too. What other dog? Just lay down, dog. Lay down. I'm going to have to vacuum all of that dirt. Good girl. That's a good girl. That was good. Now stay. Stay. Okay? I need you to stay, baby. Don't look at me like that. You know what you did. Okay, go ahead. Lick your butt. That's what she's doing now. She's licking her butt. And she's going to try and lick my face. Oh, no way. Lay down. I said lay down. Down. What do you got to think about? A good girl. Good girl. All right, folks. Once again, final appeal for the week. If you want to help out the show, please drop a little something in the tip jar. You can do it via Venmo or Cash App or however that works. I would really appreciate it. We'll be back on Monday with another show. And also, if you're not liking, subscribing, following, whatever it is you have to do that because maybe I'll jump in with some Chinese spy balloon coverage if anything develops on that front. Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend. Love you all. If nothing else, I'll see you on Monday morning at noon, Monday afternoon, high noon, right here on the Radio Misfits podcast platform.